Shut these shades. I don't know. It's getting late. Okay, it's getting to be the witchy now. Got a fire going, so that's cool. I'm gonna shut these blinds. This messes us too much light. Maybe that's better. It's bright in here. Oh, I got one die hard on here. I gotta shut this thing. Drive me crazy. It's so bright. It's distracting. All of these. Sorry, it's so bright in here. I'm just like, man, it's daylight. Daylight savings time happened last night, in fact. They're fighting over who was first. No, you're not. It was me. Jeez, let's see who we got here already. Everybody, what is up? I'm trying to acknowledge you. Gerald, what's up? Bigfoot, my dog, from close to Chicago and not Canada, like I've been suggesting. Forget about it. Glenn, what's up? He was the first to talk and type something. LOL. Geez, my eyes are really getting that bad. Is that Bob Dog? What's up, Bob Dog? Did you're just watching one of my videos? I hope it was a good one. I mean, they're not all great, but that one you're watching, I hope it's pretty good. How's it going? Bounty Hunter, what up? Mike M, what's up? Gerald Wilkins. All right, so these things come in so fast, you guys. I mean, it seems like every time I do one of these, it seems to come in faster and faster. Did I like, by the way, for the record, that I wonder if that would help me. Yeah, that's better. It's so bright in here. Like, I just do these shows to pillow. Where'd that pillow come from? I don't know, to entertain myself, as much entertain myself as I do to entertain you. So, I mean, I didn't, like I said, up until like a few weeks ago when I started doing these things, I didn't even know people made money. Like when people gave super chats, I didn't even know what a super chat was. So I was like, one day I was watching Josh from 23andMe, listening to one of his lives. And then I saw people donating, him thanking people for the donations and all that. And I asked him, what is that? Is that a super chat? People donate to your channel, help the channel grow, help market it, help for better equipment, better editing, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow, that's freaking nice. And then people started doing it to me. So I thought that was pretty good. And that's not my reason. I had already done a couple of lives without even knowing that. So, anyways, how are you? How's everybody been? How's your Sunday? God bless. We watched the The Chosen. We watched The Chosen. We watched it before, but season 2 is coming out. If you haven't watched The Chosen, you need to watch it. It's dope. I'm telling you, it's dope. You gotta go. I mean, it's such a great representation of kind of the trials and times of Jesus Christ. And so we donated to the Jesus Project, believe it or not, and The Chosen, I mean. And I'm just watching my wife. We were just looking for the cat. The funny thing is, I thought I let the cat out, and then she went out looking for the cat. And then she came back in because she was out there calling for the cat. That cat was actually inside, waiting by the door. So when she came in, the cat shot outside. So now the cat's outside. We got 4 cats, and we can't keep it. But anyways, if you get a chance to watch The Chosen, watch it. Super cool. We donated, like, the way they did it, they crowdfunded it. Well, isn't that dope? They crowdfunded this entire series. Super high quality. Somebody just hit me up, man. My eyes are sitting. Mike N. Thank you, brother. Thank you for my first super chat. You didn't ask a question. Go back and ask a question because you're like pinned there. What the heck, man? Out of show of respect, ask me a question and be happy to answer it. But this crowdfunded show, you'd be shocked by how nice it is, like how well done it is. You swear you're watching something it's better than Netflix. Better. When they did this show, they intentionally did it so with higher production value than like Netflix and all these other kind of run of the mill ones. They really did a good job. And so, but it costs a lot of money, I'm sure. But they wanted to do it right, and so it made more people want to donate the money. And so we donated money. I mean, we tithe. I'll say that. I'm not going to get into how much money we tithe. We're believers in tithing, like the Bible says. So that was part of our tithe. We tithe all over the place. To various charities, Christian charities. Rather than that's kind of one of my issues with the whole social programs. Basically, so often is the case is they take our money and then want to give it to the people they want to give it to, which 9 times out of 10 are people that really can care less about me. They just want to get it. So I would rather give my money charity wise. And this is what happens with a lot of rich people, just so you know. I mean, classify as rich. I mean, I don't mean to say rich, but I'm saying a lot, or even imply I'm rich. But I'm trying to say that a lot of people who find a tax loophole in the law by donating money to charity of their choice, or they have it taken out of their income and given to wherever, they choose to choose where it goes, decide where it goes. And then, so the government can't. So I respect that, and I respect anyone who does that, and I appreciate anyone who does that, and I appreciate anybody who supports that I do that. But this show is dope. You got to watch it. So we watched some of that this morning, and there's a lot of things I can talk about today. I want to get to questions as I always do. But to be honest with you, I really just enjoy just kicking it with you people, especially I don't want to say diehards. It's kind of creepy. I'm just saying, like diehard. I'm like saying fans even. I don't even like saying fans. I don't know if I'll ever say fans. I mean, there's somebody, it's to me that it can like have a negative connotation to me. You know what I'm saying? If I was like somebody's friend, and in fact, it's kind of how it happened with me and Sammy the Bull. I felt like we were kind of friends, and then maybe he treated me like a fan, and I didn't like that, so I would never do that to anyone. But I don't think he meant it. So to rewind and go back over it. But in my mind, I kind of felt slighted, felt like that. But you never like fans. You're more like friends or paisans or people that I know. Just my subscribers. I don't call it fans, But for all those people who do donate, by the way, to my channel, thank you. You're not a fan, you're a friend. You know what I'm saying? You're helping me build my life, rebuild my life after all I've been through. So, in return, I like to provide you with the best content I can. Some people will love it, some people will hate it. Doesn't really matter, because the ones that don't hate it, the ones that actually really like it, they really like it and are really ready to come out of their pocket, and help me out. So, thank you for that. That's just one of the million things I wanted to talk about. And, I would talk about the radio show. And like I said, I always like to answer these questions. Boom, Rico Conte in the house. Ramon Wolf, man, I look slim down. You guys think I look slim down? Nah, it's just got my beard grown out, man. Hey, I don't think I'm slim down. Did Mike hit me with another $10 super chat? I can't tell. I don't think so. I just trying to get some of these questions. But thank you, Mike, again for that. Street fighting is a lot different than cage fighting, James Holding says. Yeah, bro. Trust me when I tell you to be the first to admit. In fact, let me bring up something right now that I hope that we got some listeners. This is actually a funny story. Funny, if haha funny. So, first of all, if you're on here, like my videos so you don't forget, and by the time you leave, you don't leave without liking. That helps. I got 20 people on here. I got 10 likes. I figured, somebody could get, or 11 likes. So, kind of even it out. My friend, by the way, his name is Steve. He's good dude. Love. Yeah, Ramon. Yeah. Ramon, I believe, is one of my cousins through some. I can't even remember, but we talked about it. But my friend Steve is a good dude. Love the guy, man. He's just socially not well, meaning he's just never acclimated socially to society. And now his kids are kind of hitting that same place. And one of them is anyways. And then he has a younger daughter who's a little high octane rambunctious, but I hope she straightens out. The mother, the baby mama, she's not too stable at all. And then the oldest brother, son that's not really his, is kind of, I don't know, but he's the jury's out still with him. But the middle-aged one, I'm going somewhere with this. That's why I'm saying it's the funny story. Listen, the middle-aged one is kind of like a punk, total punk, snowflake millennial punk, thinks he's tough, never been in a fight in his life. Maybe the only fights he ever been is like sucker punched a couple little guys, 2 years younger than him, and maybe he's fighting with his older brother, a few times. Those fights don't count, not trying to hurt each other. And then he gets taught, like, I was on the phone with Steve, and I told the kid, I'm like, he's like, yeah, he said he'd take you or whatever, I mean, and he's going to start training and this and that and that. And I was like, that kid can he's never going to train, man. He's a stone pothead millennial, bro. You got to do nothing. He got real mad and offended by that. But that's what he is, stone pothead millennial. And every time he gets angry, he like punches a hole in the wall, doesn't care about the damage, My boy's got a $600,000 house, you know what I'm saying? So the kid throws a temper tantrum and like smashes holes in the walls, breaks mirrors and doors, kicks the doors open. And my boy won't beat his ass. My boy won't do nothing. He like threatened him and blah, blah, blah. And the kid, and of course the stepmom stuck up for the kid all the time. Or the mom, not the stepmom, stuck up for the kid all the time. But one time the kid got a knife and like tried to stab his brother, and maybe did stab him in the leg or something. Nobody's beating this kid's ass, and I'm like, why ain't somebody beating this kid's ass, man? If he's my kid, I would be slapping the shit out of this kid. No, excuse my language. I would think, he's acting like a punk, and he's like, oh no, man, he's making every excuse in the book, my boy, right? So anyway, one thing later, and it's been a couple. He hasn't really gotten cocky with me, but I've seen the kid get cocky with his dad. One time I walked in with his dad, I was with his dad, and he said to the mother one time, he's like shut up, B word, because that's how they talk to each other. They've been doing that for 19 years. That's what I'm saying. They live socially dysfunction. They're social dysfunction. They're like socially retarded. And so he walks in and goes, shut up, you F and B word, and that's like normal. I don't even that's like just regular, mad at each other. And the son says, watch your mouth to him. Now, my boy is 6'4", about 250, and he works out. He's not small, and he claims to be a jiu-jitsu fighter. He 15 years of jiu-jitsu on his belt, and he's a real badass because he tells me all the time he's a badass. I think he could kick some ass. I think the dude could kick most people's ass. He couldn't kick my ass, I guarantee that, but he would try and lose, but he could kick most dudes' asses. I believe that. I told him 1,000 times. I said, bro, I'll freaking demolish you. I won't even. And he's like, oh, shooting this, that. You're shooting me. I'm kicking your face, knock your teeth out with my knee, and that'll be the end of the story. Yeah, and then my hand's on the mat. What mat? There's no mat in the street fights. What are you gonna do? Anyways, but the kid. So it's my boy. He won't beat his ass. But I'm like, man, you're. So the kid gets cocky with me again the other day. About a month ago now, and he says something, and he does get really slick with my boy. And then my boy says he slapped the kid. Like, got out of the car, grabbed him, slapped him twice. Do I believe him? I'm 50-50 if I believe him. But whatever the case said is. Now, the kid's talking mad smack, to the dad, like he'll fight me. Like the kid wants to fight me. Now, Steve, my boy, is saying he's like legitimately wants to fight me. Because I'd say to the kid, why don't we box, man? I'd freaking humiliate your ass, we go in the backyard and box and slap the shit out of you a little bit. That's what you need. I told Steve to do it. It's his son. He should be the one doing it. He won't do it. He won't do it. I don't know why, but so he went. Then so he ends up wanting me to do it. And dude, let me tell you something. I'm not the one. I told him flat out, like, bro, if I get in a ring with him, even in the backyard, it'll be 2 punches. I'm gonna break his ribs and his jaw, and then he's gonna go to the hospital. That's what's gonna happen. And you put a 230-pound dude like me, who's basically a retired savage gladiator who would just, had no problem. I dialed it back every fight so I wouldn't kill somebody. The 99.9% of every fight I've ever been, I had dialed it back to about 20% just so I wouldn't kill someone. And they're gonna put your 18-year-old kid in a ring with me who weighs 165 pounds, a kid. I'm about 230. So I know how it goes. I just rush in, get his guard, one shot to the ribs, bam, one shot to the jaw, he's done. If I don't break his jaw, and he's going to have a real bad headache and not feel well for a few days, and he's probably going to break his ribs. Because I'm not going to pull no punches. Literally, because my boy's like, oh, man, you don't have to freaking kill him in there. I'm like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I only know one way to freaking win a fight, and that's to win, because I'm not going to get hurt. And the kid gets on the phone with me today, actually. He's like, come on, man, you're ruling me out, man. Anyone can get lucky. Anything can happen. Like he was going to actually maybe beat me or something. I said, the reason I'll smash you so bad and so fast is because I know anything could happen. And I'm not going to let it happen. I'm too old to be playing around with some kid in a ring. So I'm going to go in and just break you in half and then have it be over. So I don't risk you hurting me in the fight, because again, maybe I missed, you come up with a lucky shot, bang, broke my nose, knocked me out, kill me, whatever. And in my mind, that's how every fight ever went in my life. So I just do not make a mistake. I know how to deal with it. And the kid's never gotten a fight in his life. Don't know how to throw a real punch. He's not strong. He'll learn a lesson that'll last him a lifetime. I'm like 99% sure I'll probably break his ribs. And that'll hurt bad. Just crush his ribs, just run in, come low, right in his ribs. I mean, you don't put a 230-pound guy in a ring with a 130 or 165-pound guy ever. And I told him that. I said, bro, maybe we'll do it. If you get your weight up and you get some fights under your belt, he's talking about making it boosting his YouTube channel. He's going to become a YouTube celebrity because of this. And I said, bro, it ends badly for both of us. You end up knocked out, humiliated, and in pain, possibly going to the hospital. And I end up looking like the douchebag, a 38-year-old or 48-year-old douchebag, 230-pound douchebag who beats up the 18-year-old kid of his homeboy because the kid was a snowflake and got loud with you. So that's what I'm going to do. And all because my boy wouldn't beat his own kid's ass. He puts me in a ring with him, has me break him in half and says, learn a lesson or whatever. I don't look good any way around it. So I'm telling the kid, no, I don't want to do it. Plus, it'd be legal. I don't even want to get in trouble, man. I mean, unsanctioned fight in a backyard with some boxing gloves. The kid, he don't get it, man. He won't get it. He don't get it until somebody beats his ass. And that's why I want him to fight a couple other people before me. Because by the time he starts fighting even a couple of guys that are a weight class or two up and can fight, they're going to destroy him. He's going to be scared as hell. I mean, those guys ain't hitting hard. They're not hitting half as hard as I am. So I'm sure that's what you want to do. I guarantee you one thing, if that ever did happen, the first punch that I hit connect with, and I'm running straight at him, and I'll dance around, get him till I got him, and then once I put him in the corner, I'm just boom. And in a millisecond after that first punch, probably to the ribs, because when I come back to swing, he's gonna try to guard, and I'm going right for the ribs, boom. But if he drops his guard, I'm going for the jaw. So either one, the first punch is gonna be devastating. But anyways. So in a millisecond after I hit his ribs, where he actually probably feels the rib break, he'll know he made a bad mistake. In that instant, in a millisecond. I mean, I've been there too. Like that, when I got hit in the head with a bat that one time, I turned around and then I looked and saw a dude hit me with a bat. First, he hit me in the back of the head from behind. I spun around like, what the frick, and bang. And when it was coming, I knew the whole scenario of what had happened before that all went through my mind in a millisecond. And I remember thinking, I made a big mistake. And now, bam, that's freaking, I was like, this could cost me a life. And that's what that kid would have thought. As soon as I hit him, he would have just went boom. And in that instant, he would just went, I made a real bad decision here. And then bam, the other shot probably knocked him out. And then, anyways, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to look like a douchebag. You guys have to agree with me on that, right? I mean, if I beat up this 18-year-old kid, even if he's a cocky, snowflakey little millennial punk who really needs his ass beat bad, really does. I would love to be the one. That's why it all started with my saying, let's box. You know what I'm saying? It was my boy's son, but I tell him to box. And Steve won't do it. I'm like, I'll box him. I'm freaking go in the backyard, get some gloves. And at the time, I was really thinking about this, getting in there and be like, pat, smack him, pat, pat, smack him a little bit, And then he got to talking crazy like he could whoop me. And thought I was crazy. I'm a crazy old man. And my boy sent him pictures of me when I'm working out and I got a pump. My freaking traps are up to here and I'm all huge. He goes, this is the guy you're getting in there with. And the kid's like, whoa. You think twice. His own mother, my boy's mom, told the kid, honey, please don't get in a ring with that guy. He'll eat you alive, which I would have. And Steve told me, he's like, oh, you don't have to hurt him. I'm like, yeah, I do. I don't care if I break the kid's rib and kill him. I don't even care. It's terrible to say. I would never actually really want to kill a kid. Never. But hurting him real bad, no problem. Have I ever smashed a beer bottle over someone's head? I want to say yes, but I'm trying to think when. Oh, man, I've had a beer bottle smashed over my head, though, at a party one time. Somebody hit me from behind, bang, hit me in the back of the head with a bottle. And I've been hitting, in fact, I've been hitting the head 3 times I can recall. One, the bottle broke. 2 times didn't. Once was a wine bottle that hit me at the same place, back of the head from behind. Another time was a girl hit me with a beer bottle from behind. I was beating somebody's ass. It was her boyfriend or whatever in a basement party. Freaking clink. And, dude, it felt like I got hit with a big bottle. Clang! Hit me out the back of my head. It was not pleasant. Bled a little bit. Got a little bit of blood to it. Yep. So, anyways, yeah, man, Yeah. Tony says, yes, man, that's punk, not for all that. I don't, and he's talking about, oh, man, you can get rich, you can get more, you got rich, but like, man, more blow up your YouTube. I'm like, my YouTube is not going to blow up. I'm a writer. I said, that's what I am, a nerdy ass 48-year-old book writing nerd who kind of may not look like a book writing nerd, but lives the nerdy book writing life, and owns an apparel company. And I know I look like I'm an MMA fighter. I do, and I have a lot of fights under my belt. But that ain't who I am. That is not who I am today. I'm not a guy who's looking for fights. I'm going to start a fight, or wants to fight. One of the main reasons is because it's painful. Even now, I know when I was in prison towards my late 30s, I used to wrestle. All my workout partners were like freaking 15 years younger than me. They're all young guys. 20, 21, 22, 23, all young guys were. And then they, like, I wouldn't punk them out, but you know how guys talk. Like, I'm tough with them. And they're all in good shape, working out. I wouldn't even try to sling them around until they were, had been working out with me for like a year. I would love to talk on a show about that. But, so many guys wanted to work out with me in prison because, well, anyways, back to why we would wrestle. And I remember those elder years, my late 30s, maybe early 40s. Me and these guys would wrestle. It sounds super like, homoerotic, dumb, gay, and prison guys wrestling. It sounded like you took your boy. You got a lot of steam built up. So, you get in the cell, because you can go in and out of each other's cells. And you're always talking trash, talking like you'll whoop one another. And then, like my boy Charlie, he was a little smaller. He was a smaller guy, but man, he was wiry as hell. I'd smash him all over the cell. Boom, 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 boom. Smash him. He'll probably see this video someday. I think he's in prison now, but he had to give him up because he was an idiot and just kept getting in trouble. But man, I'd smash him here, smash him there. I had him under the bunk, under the bed. I mean, just all over the place. In the locker, stuffing him in. All my boys would be in the hallway watching, and they'd see me. He would fight though. He'd keep fighting. Well, anyways, I wake up the next day in pain. I'm like, oh, my shoulder, my back, my knee. I'm not 25 anymore. I'm saying 35 and 45. So I wouldn't, that's the thing. That's the reason why I'm not, even if I had any inclination to get into a cage fighting career, which I don't ever, I would never want to for that reason, even when I could have when I was young too. I could have, I had several opportunities to get in paid street fighting. One was an underground street fighting ring on the east side of Detroit. This black dude owned it, who was his deal, and he also owned I think it was a Jets Pizza, a nice pizza place on Mac between 7 and 8 Mile. But anyways, he was always bugging me, telling me, I'd go in there and get pizza. I lived on State Fair. And he heard about me. He heard who I was. He had heard rumors, and people had told him. And one of the kids who worked there, another black kid, had told him that what my deal was with these, And he was like, I'll pay you $500 a night, or $500 a fight to fight. And I'm like, where? And he's like, gym underground kind of ring, a gym. And I'm like, I said no. I kept turning him down. I said, nah, man. I told him I'm already ugly as it is, man. I can't afford to get ugly or whatever. And he laughed and he's like, nah, man. It's $500 a fight. He's like, I'll be betting money on you. Like that's where I'll make my money is betting money on you. So you're gonna get in this fight, and I'm gonna put $5,000 on your ass to win, and then I'm gonna clock this money. So and it's odds. I wasn't some like big super tough dude. I didn't even look that tough, I guess. Somehow they knew. I didn't get into it, though. I would never want to be a cage fighter, MMA fighter, nothing like that. Maybe when I was young. Can you journey your life without having fighting or man? This is all-seeing activity. Can you journey your life without having any fighting or man-made harmful competition games? Why use all the wasted time on the vocation somewhere green and peaceful? I think I know what you're trying to say there, but what you're doing is what you and I may think is the best way to use our time or evolve society doesn't mean it's the right way. I believe that we should be able to smack the shit out of our kids, and you should be able to smack the shit out of anybody who freaking offends you in a certain way, or if you feel threatened in any way or whatever. So I'm the bad guy to be the president, but the competitive games, that goes back to the dawn of humanity. I'm sure it was when cavemen were, still covered with hair, even pre-Homo sapien, and one would take a rock and throw a rock in the water, and another one would go and throw harder, and then he said and throw it, and that's just how humanity evolved, man. It's what we do. It's how we are today. It's these games like the Olympic Games and boxing and all. They're games of physical prowess, and to see who's the great gene, like the strongest Darwinian genes, whatever sport it may be, or whatever event it can be, and whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not. The world cares. The world wants to know. The world wants to watch. Women, they look at tend to, not saying all, but I'm saying majority of most women, especially like millennials, they would see an athletic male specimen, and that alone was enough to open the gates, to learn more about them. But they wouldn't even look at a guy who when I'm going back in time, as I'm saying, going back, say, 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 years, and a woman would look at a man's physical prowess, what he can do as a hunter, as a gatherer, as a protector, and obviously the bigger ones were, the stronger ones. So Darwinism, those ones were the only ones that the females would even look at. And they're the only one who get to breed, and the males would get to pick the best females he wanted because they all wanted them. So he'd say, I'll pick that one, that one, that one. The uglier and dumber ones and whatever. He's like, I don't want. So that's how the gene evolved. And in time, men evolved into fighting as a way to impress the females. It goes exactly the same way in all the other, not all the other animals, but a lot of animal species like deer. I hunt deer. The bucks go into heat every year, same time, about the time the females go into estrus, and they fight and beat the crap out of each other for like 6 weeks. And the biggest, baddest, toughest, strongest, most endured, a mother effer who doesn't have to eat, he doesn't have to drink, nothing. He will fight every mother effer who comes on his property, and 6 weeks later, he's the only one standing there banging them hoes. All beat up, lost 25% of his body weight, scars on him, can't see. He's the one banging them, all those does. He did, because he earned it. That's kind of how what happened with humanity until recent times. Now it's kind of went to the alpha males and the ones who protect us and survive. It doesn't matter. They're out there skinny jeans and kale eating kids, you know what I'm saying? Oh, it is what it is. Let me get some of these. Think you'll ever go back on Vlad? Bobby Dog said, I think I'll ever go back on Vlad. I don't know, probably at some point. I'm sure I will. It won't, I tell you, I probably won't go back on Vlad till I'm much bigger. But I'm sure I will get there, so yes. Jerome West says, when you can admit that you're still using. You hear that, honey?
No, what's that?
Dude named Jerome West says, when you can admit you're still using.
You're still using what?
Drugs. He's implying drugs.
You are still using drugs?
I mean, I'm assuming he's implying I'm using drugs. No, I mean, that's funny, though. I mean, I don't know why you would say that. I don't do drugs. I don't even take, like, when they give me prescription of Vicodin for my teeth. Yeah, last time they gave me some for I had an infection in my elbow. I didn't need them. Don't do nothing. I do take kratom, and I'm, pretty open about that. Kratom for my headaches. I have migraine headaches, so I take kratom and a regular regimen of kratom. I'm actually been lowering my doses for like 2 months now, and it's working pretty good. So, other than that, no drugs, though. But that's funny. I think it's funny that you think I'm on drugs. Back in the day when I was on steroids, wasn't on steroids. Everybody thought I was on steroids. Still, people think that today that I'm on steroids, which I'm like, it's a good compliment. I mean, if I look like I'm on steroids, I'm 48 years old. I know I don't look 48. I like to think I don't. It's funny. Let me look at some of these guys. Rico Conte, it's actually harder to bust a beer bottle over someone's head than you would think. Yes, Rico Conte said it's harder than you think to bust a beer bottle over his head. You got to hit him just right. If you hit the butt end, but I think I did hit somebody with a beer bottle once and it didn't break. Or a bottle. I'm not really a bottle hitting kind of guy. I had a couple of friends that were famous for hitting guys with a bottle. Eli was a guy who was famous for hitting. He'd always hit a guy with a bottle. I just don't think it's fair. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to do that. I mean, I'd rather just hit a guy with this, It's better for me. Let's see what Bill James says. Gunner, in my 40s in Detroit, I learned that the guys with real power never had to raise their voice. They could clear a room with a look. I enjoy watching you. Oh, dude. Well, see, Bill James, yeah. Well, I think I know who that is. So but yes, the men. I mean, I've known men like that too. I know men who didn't even have to say a word; they could just nod, and everybody would scatter. I've seen that, you know, a lot of times, and just there's certain individuals. But I've known guys like that that weren't mobsters either, though. Like high level business dudes, you know, like executives. I don't know a lot of them, but I've known a couple of them that were like that too. The same power they wielded, you know, over all these people. Where are they now? Need their help. Man, so I have a new radio show. Anyway, I'm saying. I'm kind of rambling, but I really like to get to these questions for everybody. I don't like to go blow over them. Big Boy Blue, they're trying to make the Army woke today. Oh God, don't get me started. Big Boy Blue, met a young man join the Army like I did, being an infantryman and becoming a paratrooper is one of the last few bastions in manhood. Listen, man, Big Boy Blue, I'm telling you, bro, you nailed it right there. Let me speak for a moment about the military. If I could go back in time and redo my life, if I could make it to 18 without, you know, getting kicked out of school and whatever, I would join the military. I said this before, everybody knows it. I said I would join the Navy SEALs. I think I would join the Navy SEALs or try. Would I make it? I mean, the odds are good for me because I'm really athletic, really tough athletically guy. So I have a better chance than most. Doesn't mean I would, but I try. And if I didn't make it, then I would go something else. You know what I'm saying? I would do something else that's similar, you know, some special forces or something, man. But the problem is that if you join the Navy and you know, fell out of the SEALs, you really don't have a lot of places to go in terms of like active, like assignment. I don't think, you know. So if anyone knows, let me know. But that's one of the reasons I would go probably into the Marines, maybe. Or maybe the Army, man. The Army has the most opportunities. That's the best place for opportunities. It's the lowest paid in the beginning, but if I get free school, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to stay in school. Probably part-time. I would go about 50% of part-time. So to get my degree, I would take 8 years. At the end of that 8 years, maybe 6 years, I would now become a lieutenant. And then, you know, so you're 24 years old and you're a lieutenant. And you make like 50 grand a year, but everything's paid for. And then you just work your way up. I would have stayed in the military. I would have retired from the military. I might still be in the military. There's a lot of colonels and generals who are my age right now, young generals, young like bird generals or whatever they are. They're younger generals. Not going to be a whole lot of generals under 50 years old, but it could be. And I think I would have been a brilliant military strategist because I'm a writer. So I kind of, once you read some more of my books, you'll see one of the things that I master are these like long-term strategies, you know, where and that's what writing a long novel is. It's basically a long-term strategy. Like something happens here and you have to tie it together in this way far off, long-term, you know, very complex mechanism and fit perfectly, you know, boom, from over there. It's like throwing a proverbial pencil in the cup from across the room. It's got to be perfect. So I would have stayed in the military and seen the world and traveled and did a lot of cool stuff. So that's what I would have done. I think I would have loved to have done. If I could do it over, that's what I would do. I would have stayed in active duty, like on special forces, probably till I'd try to push it till I'm like 35. I know some guys can make it even longer than that, but not many. And I would have stayed. I would have stayed. You know, Black Ops, Special Ops. If I made it, if I wasn't killed, but some of them get killed. A lot of them get killed. So I mean, odds of making it. If you're an active Navy SEAL, odds of making it till your retirement are slim. So just so you know, it's like I mean, I guess it's pretty good, but still, there's a high probability you could end up dead or in bad shape. So somebody say super chat. Leo Wild, what up? Let me see what he's got to say. Thank you, brother, for the very generous super chat. Hit me with $25. That's dope, man. I appreciate it. You know, like I said before, man, God bless you for that. This is my job, and I didn't come on here to like ever mooch for money from anyone. But on the other hand, it's like, wow, man, if I make a couple $100 during this thing, which is not a ton of money. I know some YouTubers with big giant, you know, channels, they make, you know, $5,000 or $10,000 per one of these, and they may do one a week. So me, no, I would do one a week, and I'd be happy to make $200, and that's a really nice bonus to my income. Of course, spend some time. What is your question? Barstool opening a legal sports book in Detroit. Barstool do you think they would be able to get away with it back in your day? Listen, Leo, I'm going to tell you something, man. I guarantee you that whoever owns that is paying already. So no, they wouldn't have got away with it back then, and they aren't getting away with it now. Somebody has paid somebody to have that, and it's probably 100% probability that the mob owns it. And if it's not, the problem is you just won't, because it'll be there's a front man, you know what I mean? And they got a straw man up front. They pick a guy who's squeaky clean, very little or no ties to anybody in the mob, boom, boom, boom. And then they take the money legally. It's nothing. They're the ones who got gambling legalized in Detroit. They got it legalized in Detroit. Why would they do that? And people used to ask me that. They're like, man, why would Detroit? They'd be like, man, is the mob, your friends, mad that that gambling is legal now in Detroit? Because gambling's always been the hallmark of and the biggest money maker. I go, what are you talking about? And then I got this figure they knew, and I'm like, they mad. Like, why would they be mad? They own the casinos. And I'm like, oh, what? Who? I'm like, yeah, the casino's one corporate one, but I think there's 3 casinos. 2 of them are and the thing is, the mob stands so much to gain from even the corporate one that's there, between the licensing and the liquor license and the taxes, all the buildings around there, storage and parking lots, and all of it is owned by the mob. So they got their valets there, they got the deck guy, they got everything, the car service, the taxi cab, it's all mob owned. So even if they didn't own the ones, surreptitiously on the low, they would still be like, who cares, and still bettors bet. I would say that it only stole maybe 20-25% of the street bettors, which is not a lot. And in the end, it actually worked to their advantage, and I'm going to tell you why. See, this is all stuff that that I come from the world that I do, and how I would know it. Because we talked about this. And the legalized gambling, what it did was it made gambling a lot more prevalent and acceptable in Metro Detroit. So people who normally thought it was taboo, they're just like, gambling, then go down and hit some slots, blah, 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 blah. Well, most of them worked with and or around, somebody who's connected to, somebody who's connected to somebody who's connected to somebody who's connected to a bookie or a wise guy. And he's connected to a bookie, to a bookie, to a bookie. Now they're all betting. So now the casinos just open up the world to a whole new level of strata of sports bettors. And the best part, what do you think they're going to do when they run out of money and they got bills to pay? Where do you think they're going to go for the money? Credit's bad because they've been gambling. They're down. They go to the freaking Shylock. They go to someone like me and say, man, listen, I need to borrow freaking, $1,500. I'm like, no problem, man. 3% a week. That's it. Or whatever. $300 a week. Every week. Get them on there paying. Every time I got out of jail, that's what I used to do. Every time I get out of jail, I'd just go borrow some money, like $5,000, usually from a wise guy, old Dago, and I'd be like, "We'll have you back in a month, good?" And I'd pay him the juice too. Yeah. So I'd go out there and I go to the track, the Hazel Park racetrack, sit around when the freaking guys lose all the money. I'd be like, "Yo, who needs freaking money on the books?" And they'd come give me some freaking. One of the things that I did was take collateral. Almost always took collateral, like a diamond ring or something like that, a wedding ring. It doesn't have to be something of value. Something of sentimental value is actually worth more. Like a wedding ring or something. Which makes me sound like a real scumbag for that, but whatever. So no, the Detroit, the mob, Detroit, and the gambling thing. Sheesh. Let me see what we got, man. Dude. Viver Senna dudes of the Navy SEAL training. It's crazy. They wanted to recruit me years ago because that's what I wanted to do. Yeah, Ramon. I don't think. I don't know if I could make it, but I would try. I'd be one of the few who probably came close if I didn't. Rise Above said, "How are your eyes doing lately? Have you had to get any more needles?" And no. And actually, no, thank you for asking, Rise Above. No, the doctor, this is a bizarre thing. God works in mysterious ways. This is how you know God's real. This will blow your mind, but I have been getting these shots every day for like 4 years. Close to it anyways. Not every day, excuse me, every month, about every 6 weeks. If I went more than 7, 8 weeks, it'd get blurry and I didn't need them. And the doctors kept saying, if you're lucky, or eventually they'll wear out, you won't need them no more. And then so I got one more shot right before I went to go live off the grid in the UP in the Upper Peninsula. I was going to, just Live Off the Grid. I don't know if you guys seen any of the. If you go to my channel, there's a playlist called Off the Cuffs. Excuse me. I'm sorry. So if you go to Off the Cuffs, watch it. This thing. Anyways, I got a shot before I went out there, and for whatever reason, it just like it stabilized. So after that, my eye, it's still got some dead spot into it, you know. And that's because when I had the stroke in my eye when I was in prison, I just woke up one day and I couldn't see. They didn't take me to see a doctor for 34 days. So in that 34 days, some of my eye died, and so I'm very grateful that I can still see pretty good with it. It's just like a little blurry patch that goes through it, but other than that, I'm good. So thank you for asking. Let's see. LB Green says the thing legal book is they don't do a credit. Trust me, they haven't shut down bookies. Nah, bookies are crazy, man. Look in Detroit especially. I don't know about today. To be honest with you, I don't know today. Scott Bernstein has told me some things, you know, about what he knows and who, what, when. But I don't know how the family or whoever's operating what today. But back when I was young, oh man, the money that I saw coming through them sports books was insane money. Which of the other YouTube mob casters do you like? Katie Diane asked me, which one? Any Hitman Hearn story? Mike, remind me to. Yes, I have a Hitman Hearn story. I'll tell you a Hitman Hearn story. Just give me a second. Remind me if I forget. Katie asked me if I like the other mob channels. I'm going to be honest. I don't even know what the other mob channels are. I've listened to like Sammy the Bull, a couple of his. So I can, if that counts as liking, yeah, I like Sammy's, listening to some of Sammy's stuff. You know, I talked to Sammy. I was kind of friends with him. We made friends with him before he started his channel, and I had talked to him, did a Zoom call with him actually, and he told me an hour-long story on Zoom, and I was like, wow, man, this guy's really good at telling a story. He's a good storyteller. He's gonna do good. He's gonna do good, and that's what I said. And he's doing good. He's doing exactly what I figured. But the other ones I've never even listened to, like John A. Light. I know my boy Larry just did John A. Lights, and Larry said he's gonna talk to him about me doing a show with him. I just remember I had some words on Facebook with John A. Light like 4 years ago, and he probably don't even remember. He might remember, but he didn't know me. Of course, you know, a lot of these New York guys, they like think the world, king of the world, and the world revolves around them. I said, listen, because he got tough with me, and he goes. Because I said, yeah, I don't like the guy. I heard that he's freaking, I didn't say I didn't like him. I just said I heard half of everything he says is BS. And he goes, you don't know, man, I've been killing and dropping bodies since you were shooting steroids and blah, 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 blah. And I said, hey, man, listen, bro. I said, you don't know nothing about me. I said, but guess what? I don't have immunity, so I can't come on here and tell you about all the bodies I got. But what I will tell you is this, I was cut like that, bro. So you should think twice, whatever. And that's what I told him. And, you know, and he got tough and blocked me. Then he blocked me, though. That was the funny part. So I responded to that, and then he blocked me. The guy freaking blocked me. It wasn't even that serious. But, you know, I probably don't forget. I probably thought I was some freaking just nobody freaking, not that I wasn't, not that I'm anybody, but probably thought I was just, you know, another freaking dumbass wannabe freaking gangster, you know what I'm saying? Larry's going to talk to him. I'm like, what the hell did I do? I mean, I bruised my arm. What the hell? It's hurt. Bigfoot in the house? OG Bigfoot. Detroit is coming back. They're doing a job turning it around. Peace and love, brother. Well, it's funny you say that, OG Bigfoot. Have you been there? And let me go back to the Hitman Tommy Hearns question. That's a good question. I saw him a couple times over the years. But the only real cool story I got with Tommy Hearns was when I was with my grandpa Toko, my uncle Sal Toko, my cousin Brian Toko, my sister. Maybe my cousin Anthony, I can't remember, but I know at least that was there. And I was older. I was like 16, 17 years old. So I was like the ringleader besides my sister. But my sister's really beautiful, so everybody was watching. So we're coming through, and everybody's going, hey, Mr. Toko, hey, Mr. Toko. Oh, by the way, this is the auto show. I'm in the auto show. You know, the auto show in Detroit is huge. It's a humongous event. If you don't know what the auto show is in Detroit, then it's the biggest auto show in the world. Like most people, it's where they unveil all the new new cars for the year and all these the kit ones for the future, whatever future one. Anyways, I'm walking through there, and they're all going, Mr. Toko, Mr. Toko, and all of a sudden, like Tommy Hearns is getting interviewed. He's sitting there getting interviewed. He's talking to, I think it's Carmen Harlan. Carmen Harlan is her name. And he was like talking, and as we were coming by, Tommy Hearns sees my grandpa and goes, "Hey, Mr. Limble, hey, how you doing?" He like walks away from where he was being interviewed, like a little makeshift stage thing over by some cars. Walks over to my grandpa, shakes my grandpa's hand, "Hey, how you doing?" And he kind of looks at us, and my Uncle Sal says, "Hey, how you doing, Tommy?" And he looks at it. Where I'm just standing there, I'm just like this teenage kid, so I'm like, I'm impressed though. I know who he is. I mean, dude, it's a G. It's Tommy Hearns. So I'm just like, man, it's Tommy Hearns in my mind, but I wasn't riding his, I wasn't jocking him or nothing like that. And just, what's up, But in my mind, like, damn, Tommy Hearns ran over to say hi to my grandpa. And my grandpa's like, "Hey, how you doing, Tommy? Good to see you again." Da, da, da. And then about that time, they spent like a little bit of exchange, some pleasantries. And then Harman Carlin, the newscaster, walks over to my grandpa and says, "Mr. Toko, I'd like to ask you about such and such, something that was in the freaking news. I don't remember. I didn't pay attention at all." And then the camera came over. Her camera crew was over and talked to him. And like, anyway, that's all I remember. It was pretty freaking cool that Tommy Hearns was kicking it with us. I wish I had it over to do again. He's a little freaking guy. He wasn't even as big as I am. At that age, I was like 17. He was still smaller than me. Let me go back to this here. My girl Janet, what's up? My girl Janet just hit me up. Thank you, girl. I gave her a shout out on my radio show. What the hell did I do with my arm? I don't even know. That's how crazy it is. I don't even know how I hurt myself. My arm's hurting, right? It's throbbing. Like I bruised it or banged it or something. So I look and there's like a mark. Like it must have hit it freaking pretty good. And it's painful. How did I not remember how that happened? That's the scary part. I mean, that's the scary part. So, yes, I gave Janet a plug on my radio show. I was kind of making, listen, this is the deal. I'm going to go on my radio show, and I'm going to try to plug as many people as I can on the radio show, because that's what you should do. If you get the opportunity to get on a radio show, it's your radio show, and you can help somebody, you can blow somebody up. Dude, what kind of friend would you be to not get on there and freaking hook them up? Even if you're not, like, yes, they pay. Some of them pay. Some don't. But if you can still do it, even if they don't have the money to do it, do it. So what? Look at you down the road. You're helping them get business. That's the beautiful thing about, Now, if everybody did this, imagine if everybody who had the opportunity to help somebody or two people would do it. If we all did two people, we all said two people, I'm going to help two people to get whatever I can. And then the world would change, man. We'd have a much better place. Everybody wants to be a douchebag, including me, I guess. What's up, Pat? Jerry Williams, what are your favorite guns to carry with you as a daily driver back in the day? Any more cool stories about the Desert Eagle 40 cal? Jeremy Williams asked me that. Jeremy Williams. My preferred gun to carry back in the day was a 380. Just any 380 auto. A nice one though, like a good one. You don't want that one that's cheap and get jammed. So I had one time that was stolen from an FBI agent's house. Isn't that crazy? An FBI agent, it was stolen from the FBI agent's house. I know because the guy, it was an inside job. So the dude who stole it, he told me, I'm like, he's like, "You sure you don't mind about this?" I'm like, "No, I don't care." And I bought it, and I had it for years, man, years. It was perfect. 9 shots, one in the hole, and 8 in the clip, and it fit perfectly right in my pocket. And if I was wearing some like shorts, or even jeans, shorts, whatever, just right in there, and it wasn't bulky. And I kind of naturally always kept my hand on it anyways. And if I was about to go do some dirt, though, I would, like, if I knew I was about to engage in something that's nefarious, where I could need a gun or needed somebody else to know I had a gun, then I would carry something bigger, like a 911 45 or a Desert Eagle 44. The Desert Eagle is too big. I mean, I kind of got it on a fluke, weird thing. A friend of mine's dad had it, and then my dad traded a Mac 11 for it. And that's how I ended up with it. And this freaking huge 44 Desert Eagle, and it was too big, too heavy, stupid, but it was a nice, crazy looking pistol, and it shot really good. It just kicked like a mule. You couldn't carry it around very good though. It's just huge. Like, I like a 45 911 honestly, but because that makes a big bang, got a big hole in the end of the barrel. It looks business when somebody points a 911 at you. It's like. Yeah, I mean, but a 380, that's all you need. If 380, listen, 380 will do the same thing as a 9 at freaking point blank range at 5 feet, like you're going to use it, whatever. So Let me see what I got here, guys. Joe Schuler just hit me up, just like last week. I don't have any particular question. As a big fan, I'm just showing some love again. $10, Joe Schuler. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Man, geez, my arm. What the hell's in my arm? Fix this arm, Joe. Thank you, man, for the generosity, man, and I appreciate it. That is my paycheck. That's how I make money. So, like I said, my goal is to maybe make $200 from one of these. You know, I never started that as a goal, but now I'm like, well, if I'm going to do it, put time into it, spend time, hopefully I can make a buck off it. But it never was that. I'd like to rather kick it with you and kind of, I don't know, man. The shows, they're so story-ish. You know, there's just stories where I have a mission and it's telling a story. At least with this, it's more like I can just ramble and talk to you too. Actually, do more talking to you, which I prefer. You know, I do both. Hey, Billy, are you doing dropping murder time? Rels, say, hey, bro, you dropping murder timeline 2 tonight? He's asked me that like 3 times now. I feel like saying, maybe later. Hang in there. Maybe 10 o'clock, 11, 12. I'm sorry, bro. I think I said in the last one, your last message was tomorrow. I was going to, dude, listen, by the way, let me say this. Rel says this. I screwed up 2 videos. One of the videos that I screwed up was I put the murder timeline, but it wasn't the murder timeline. I put it was 2, it was 1. And then the second time I put it up, it was really Anthony Cerrone's video because I put the wrong thing on the front of it. So, I mean, memory is horrible, man. Blue footprint or thumbprint, wrong thumbprint. So I screwed that up and just deleted it and started over. So moral of the story is, I had a long week. Guess I screwed up twice. So no, I'm gonna drop it tomorrow morning. I'm gonna drop it early tomorrow at like noon. Is what I'm thinking. Oh, Janet Lynn. Janet, my Sorella, Janet Lynn, the Sicilian girl from my neighborhood who was on my Patreon show. She asked me, what do you think about these open borders? You know what I think about these open borders. Open borders should be open fire. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. No. I think we should, no, you got to come through legally. Come to this country legally. I don't want to pay for your insurance. I don't want to pay for your health care. I don't want to pay for your Section 8 housing. I don't want to pay for your food. I don't want to pay for your jail, court costs, blah, blah, blah. I don't pay for none of that. And if you're here illegally, I'm paying for that. So that's what I'm saying. What kind of bikes? Jeremy Williams asked, what kind of bikes and toys did you used to have? I love high boosters, and I drive a Mitsubishi 300 GT, so I love fast cars, cool cars. I mean, these are good questions. And where's Nicholas Greenwood? He's got some. I'm trying to find his question because he always has good questions. It's retracted. Nicholas Greenwood, what happened to you, man? Nicholas, I kept meant to go back to his Nicholas Greenwood's questions. They're good questions. They're well thought questions. We deleted them all. What the hell you do that for, man? I'll get to them. Well, Hunter, what's up? There's my son, Junior Hunter. Oh, there you go. Okay, so I want to make sure I go back to that and just tell us the last question about the motorcycle. I had a Ninja all my life. I drove a Ninja. So got one when I was 16. It was a 600. Drove it for, actually it was a 500. It was a 500. Then I drove that and got a 600 Hurricane, a Honda for a minute. Then I had a 600 Ninja. Then I had a 900 Ninja. And then the 900 Ninja, bro, I had a near-death kind of supernatural experience with it. And then could never drive it again. So it was weird. I had a couple of pounds of weed in a backpack, actually, and I was running from the cops. It's weird. I don't even know if I ever told that story. I can't even remember. I should probably save it and tell that story. It's a crazy-ass story. I was running late. I forgot I was supposed to be somewhere with this weed. Went downtown to the island. There was a bunch of girls there. I'm like, hey, what's up? Next thing you know, I'm like, damn, I'm 10 minutes late past this meeting, and I'm 8 miles out of town or downtown. And I just jumped on my rocket and let it rip. The next thing you know, I got a cop coming up me, a Harley Davidson cop coming, and I dusted his ass, but I still drove like a lunatic. And then it was trippy. I hit 170 miles an hour on the service drive on a Ninja 900. 170 on the service drive. So if you drove a bike, you can imagine the amount of variables there that had to be in my favor for me to live. A lot of things could have happened. I should have been dead. Could have been dead. Anyway, so I didn't drive it for like 2 weeks, and I went to drive it after that, and I was all scared and kind of flipped out. And I don't know, man. I got shook. I ended up giving it to my boy, to my cousin, saying, "Hey, listen, you want to drive? You can use my bike all summer. Just don't crash it. If you do, buy it." And he's like, "Yeah." I came over and crashed it within hours. So that was that. But yeah, I had never had any real fast cars. I had a Mustang when I was young for like not even that long, man. Maybe 6 months. Black Mustang, was super fast and super cool. But that's a whole nother long story. Jack Tocco, who was the boss of the Detroit mob, told me he told me to sell it. Not in a direct order kind of way, but just kind of you're an asshole kind of way. Because I pulled up bumping, the stereo bumping, and this Mustang ripped up my grandparents' driveway all fast, revving the motor. Didn't even know he was in there. There was Cadillacs and crap in front of my grandparents' house all the time. I would go over there every weekend to hang out, for Saturday and Sunday, for Sunday for sure. Then I walked in and he said, freaking Mustang, why don't you get rid of it and buy a pickup truck? And he told me to lose the damn chain too. I had a big gold chain. He said, get rid of that GD chain. He's like, you're not a rapper. That's what he says. You're not a rapper. And that was that. And after that, I did what he said. I sold the Mustang, bought a station wagon. I still kept my crotch rocket though. I still had the Ninja. And then and sold the chain too. And I've never wore jewelry since. Isn't that crazy? And I was a jewelry dude. Like I'd been wearing jewelry all my life. I'm talking 4-finger rings in like high school, big nuggets, big chains, always a big stupid like rope chain. And then he told me that. I was like, man, he's right. I look like a freaking punk. Someone's gonna kill me over this. It's a funny story. I'm gonna tell you a funny story right now. This is a good one, so nobody judge me. You would have done it too in my shoes. So, gold chain. We're driving down the street coming back from Canada one night. Coming through the hood, we decided to take Gratiot down so we're not on the expressway. Coming from Canada, where we'd like gone to the clubs and got drunk in Canada at like 17 years old, fake IDs. Coming up for Gratiot, there's this black dude at like a bus stop sitting there, and he's staring at me at the light, and I'm right here staring at the light, and he's staring at me, and if I look back at him, I hold my pistol up, and I go do like this, and he freaking pulls his pistol up. He like does like this. And, like it's funny. My boys are all like, "Whoa!" Like, it's funny. Like, everybody in Detroit's got a freaking gun. I was just messing with the dude because he was staring at me. I was drunk, and then we see this guy. My arm's killing me. We see this guy walking, got a fur coat, full-length fur trench coat, and a big gold chain, like back in the the Run DMC era chains. Big, stupid, dumbass chain. They're hollow, but it was still a freaking dope, huge chain. It was probably $2,000 back then, or today it would have been like $8,000. And I told my boy driving. I don't remember actually who drove the car. What Pat was driving at the time, but Pat came with me to do this thing. At least I think it was Pat. Yeah, it was Pat. There's two of my boys and me. I said, "Come on, we're gonna rob this freaking dude. I'm gonna get that chain. We'll split it." And they're like, "Okay." We're all drunk. So we pull into an alley. We go up a couple blocks and turn. And then there's the businesses that are on Gratiot are just, sitting there. This is a horrible ghetto, by the way. Horrible ghetto in the hood, Detroit. And it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning. And we're a bunch of like 16-year-old, 17-year-old white kids from the suburbs. And I got a pistol. And so Pat's got a bat in the car. I grabbed the bat. Like, again, I'm not proud of this story, just for the record. It's just a crazy story. I think just to give you an idea of kind of the crazy crap that I did. And somebody was just messaging me like, dude, I hear people saying, like, imagining you're embellishing these stories. He's like, but I'm from the west side of Detroit, and I knew guys telling stories like this all the freaking time. And I heard them all the time. He's like, hey, these aren't remarkable, man. This is just Detroit. I was like, yeah, I know. So I get dropped. Somebody else takes the wheel behind Pat's car and like drives down the block. Actually drives down to the next block and then turns in like to wait for us. So this dude's walking. He's a couple blocks back, but that's only like 2-3 minutes. And so I got this bat, and I hide around the corner. It's dark. It's like a black ass darkness. No, there's no street lamp here. Nothing. It's pitch black. And 2:32 in the morning, and this dude just comes walking in. And you got to realize the sidewalk is maybe 2 feet from the side of this building. So it's my two boys, and are sitting behind me, and we're like, and as soon as the dude comes walking by, I'm just like, bang, bust him with the bat. This horrible thing. And just bing, and freaking my boys take off running. And I'm like, I'm scared, so I just grab the chain and run after them. The plan was to get the coat. The plan was to get his wallet or whatever he's got in his pocket, whatever. Instead, they bolted so fast, so hard. I thought maybe they saw something or whatever. But I ain't leaving without this chain. I knew that. I grabbed his chain, and I'm faster than both of them. So I'm like, got a bat and a chain. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, man, you killed that guy. I'm like, I didn't kill him. He's not gonna have a headache, but he's gonna be fine, man. Let's go. I'm sure he's fine, but. Anyways, I got another chain one time. Guy pulled up at Danceopolis. If anybody knows Danceopolis, was back in the day, was on right near Mount Clemens. This is right outside of Detroit. It was a teen dance hall called Danceopolis. A Greek dude owns it. That's why hence the Danceopolis. It's a common Greek name. If you're not from an area that has Greeks, Opolis. Anything with Opolis on the end is Greek. And so, anyway, we were cruising through the parking lot, kind of just like peeping out girls. We were too young to even be in there, like 16 years old. We were in back. I was in the back of this big hooptied out LTD, about 5 of us driving on smoking weed. And this dude pulls up in a Mustang, tricked out, pimped out Mustang, revs up, pulls up, and turns in. He takes his big, huge gold chain, huge, off his neck, and hangs it around the mirror in his car, and then gets out and walks into this dance club. And dude, I'm like, I'm getting that chain. I didn't even wait. I like opened the door and got myself out because I didn't want one of those guys to say, I'm going to get it first. So I was like, no, let me out. I'm going to get this. I'm like, where do you want us to meet you? I'm like, go down this first street. Wait, guy down there about 100 yards, man. Just give me a couple of minutes. And what took the longest is I needed a rock, so I had to go get a brick. So I had ended up walking around the corner, looking around, trying to find. It took me like 3 houses before I could find like a landscaping brick. And then I came back into this parking lot, and there were people coming and going. There was no perfect time. There was no lull where there's nobody out there. It was just people coming and going. I just had to not give enough, and I didn't. So I walked straight up to the Mustang. Was like, there's people all over the place. I'm like, grabbed the chain, put it around my neck. I was like, see, the cool thing about this chain, too, was it went from smaller to bigger. So it was like bigger on the bottom and then kind of got smaller in the back. It was huge chain. I bought a Mercedes medallion for it. That's how goofy I was. Oh, anyways, gold. I'm from the hood of STL, and I believe all your stories. I don't think you're over-exaggerating because I've seen similar stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's Jeremy Williams saying that. Yeah, true. I say that all the time. If you're from anywhere near a major city, especially where Italians gather in mass, then I can tell you, my stories aren't that rare or unique. There's a lot of guys like me out there, man. I like my friend Bam, that was a guy who's a bouncer. I recorded like 4 shows with Bam, and I'm gonna release them. But he's a dude who's my age, come from my neighborhood, was a bouncer around all these guys that I knew, same stuff and the same thing. And it's interesting because I'll let him tell more stories, and his stories basically sound like they could be my stories. Yeah, man, that's just the way it was. Somebody today, like I said, from the West Side said, I remember these stories, West Side stories, but I heard, the East Side is way more grimy than the West Side, just for the record. Anybody not from Detroit, like the West Side guys are like, man, you guys are out of control on the East Side. It was just the way of the world, man. Oh yeah, Jack Toking definitely would not have been happy. No, Mayweather is from Michigan, so is Chris Bird and Butterbean. Michigan had produced some of the greatest fighters in all the time, and we have the #1 female boxer, Shields. I didn't know that. I didn't know all those freaking guys were from there. Let me see. Now, Nicholas Greenwood, if I missed your first questions, please ask again. I don't know what the hell's wrong with my arm, but he's just asking a question. This is one of my favorite kids. I think he's a kid. Nicky, how old are you, bro? I'm just saying. I kind of like to know who I'm talking to. Do you believe that we will live another life in heaven or hell when you all pass away? Where do you think the world would be when they're all gone? Well, I'm going to tell you something, man. It's not that I believe. I can tell you for a fact that yes, heaven is real, and that that's where you're going to go, unless you just have been a really bad person. And the best part about heaven is, and God's salvation is, you can reject him all your life, and on your last breath say, "I accept you," and go to heaven. The ones who don't, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but you're going to burn, and that's going to be something that's beyond imagination. It's not the fire that you're going to burn from, the feeling of being without God, meaning no connection to God. Right now, on this world, we have connection with Him. All the nature, kids, love, family. That's all God. That's the I don't know, the quantification of God here on earth. It starts with love, the kind you have for your kids, your pets, your family, whatever. And it works out from there for things that are all the good things in your life. Anyways, when you get to heaven, if you haven't accepted Jesus Christ in your life for that last day, then you won't know what that's like. You'll now be, even as bad as it was here on earth was just a test. Once He disconnects you from the plug, from the matrix, boop. I can't imagine. I know I'm not going to imagine. So the thing is, it's really easy. I mean, if you do the homework and do a little reading and looking at the whole history, just really open the Bible, New Testament, Gospels with an open mind, and in that mind believe that, you know what, there are things that are supernatural that can happen that are beyond normal human comprehension. I've seen them myself. I've had them happen to myself. So yes, I will agree that there are supernatural things. Yes, most humans will agree. There are things that are supernatural that have happened in their life. They've seen them happen, and that can't be explained. It could only be a superpower because mathematically they're beyond comprehension. So I know I have. Maybe I'm just really lucky, but I've had like 5 events in my life that I can tell you, dude, the probability is beyond mathematical equation. Talking in the trillions of trillions, just couldn't happen. I mean, I remember somebody said the odds of this happening is the same as if a tornado ran through a junkyard, and when it was done, a brand new 747 jet was sitting there and left over from all the parts that they had. You could do it for infinity. It wouldn't happen ever. And though I've seen it, so that's why I'm saying, if you just open your mind and read and believe what you're reading, it kind of, oh, whoa, now it just makes sense. And then when it does, it's that hallelujah moment. You're like, wow, the world makes sense now. So I hope that for everybody, man. Hey, Sandy, what's up? What are your thoughts on judicial reform as well as corruption in the judicial system, the major problems? Well, oh, jeez. Jeremy Williams. Oh, my goodness. If anyone has something to say about that, about prison reform and how corrupt and evil that system is, it's me. I have a lot to say. I would go on, I could do freaking 5 shows about it. So what I say is the system is like most of the other systems, government systems. They're corrupted. They're run by corrupt people, corrupt individuals who are in it for the money and the money only. They are in it for cronyism, nepotism, and it doesn't matter if it's the phone systems for the prison system or the prosecutors, eventual judges who run for election and run the government. It's all the same, man. They're all. There's a big pie of money, right? And they're just chopping it up now. And the goal is to have it chopped up as big as possible, but to as few of people as possible. That's what they do. Well, the corrections is like that is their premier chop. Michigan Department of Corrections spends more than half of its budget, just on. God, I got to get on my radio show and talk about this. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to make a note of that. I'm going to talk about that, prisons. So they spend like more than half their budget on arresting, prosecuting, convicting, and imprisoning their own citizens. Wait a minute. That doesn't count prosecutors, judges, and police. That bumps it up to about 3/4. So 3/4 of the money Michigan takes in taxes, state taxes, 3/4 of it. Also, that's another thing. It doesn't count city jails. It doesn't count city jails either. It's just prison. First prison, prosecutor. Add it all up. 75% of the money that comes in Michigan state taxes is rerouted and used to take the citizens of this state and imprison them. Convict them for 190 prosecutors in Macomb County, 70 judges or something like that. What the F? And they're so busy, you know what I'm saying? Every one of them with political aspirations. Every one of them, I'm not saying every judge is scumbag, but most of them are. That's just the way it is. You know, they become scumbag. They go from a scumbag lawyer to a scumbag freaking. I'm not saying every lawyer is a scumbag, but a lot of them. And then the really scumbaggy ones, they tend to go for election after. They tend to want to be politics because they realize how much ass kissing and smoozing can result in, you know, big money plays or just power or whatever it is. And so, yeah, man, the system is a joke. The system is corrupt. I seen stuff that you wouldn't even believe in prison. You can't even imagine. The phone service is absolutely mind-boggling. They basically, the contract was a blatant scam, and it didn't matter because there was nobody to hold them accountable. So they basically gave the contract to the highest bidder and gave them a 30% kickback on top of it for managing a percentage of the money that comes in, because Michigan can't manage its own money. That's what they said. They said, would you manage this 30% slush fund? That's what it's called, a special fund. Would you manage that for us? And we'll give you a 30% commission. Well, and it makes like $3.6 million a month. Do the math. They're making millions and millions, but they were the highest bidder. It's kind of weird. Who goes with the highest bidder? Huh? Yeah, Michigan, exactly. It's all freaking scam, man. So yeah, good question though. How do you feel about legalizing all drugs in Portugal? No. Listen, Birdman Marnes, no way. You can't just, you're never going to just say legalize all drugs. Heroin, crack, meth, it's just all that's going to do is create zombies that are freaking half dead, and they're never going to get enough drugs. So what are they going to do? The same thing. It just creates it's a welcoming open arms to saying, here, you know, become a bunch of freaking drug addict losers, you know, exactly. It won't happen in a place like China or Russia or Somalia or something like that, or not Somalia, but like Bosnia or Croatia or some of these rapidly growing, you know, global powers that you don't hear about much about. And China you do, and Russia too, but I mean, they don't, legalizing drugs is not the answer. Better education about drugs is. Who knows, who has ever seen anything good happen from a drug addict? Nobody, nothing. Yeah, it may feel good to take the drugs the first few times, and then you get addicted, and then you're a freaking junkie and a loser. And we all know that play. We all know that game. We all know how it ends. How many people have died? How many people have gone to prison? So no, legalizing drugs are not the answer. To make a couple extra bucks taxes, I don't believe it. You know, pot's one thing, but not hard drugs, because they're never going to get enough. And if they don't have enough, they're going to go rob, steal, whatever. Now if you legalize it, you're just making it more enticing to kids. George, what's up, bro? Taxation is stuff. Yeah, I agree, JB. Welcome to politics. Rick Mancini. Yup, gotta be dirty. We need a huge tax reform, Jeremy Williams says. The entire tax structure in this country is screwed. I genuinely think that a lot of problems could be solved with just a restructuring of the spending of tax dollars. Jeremy Williams, tell me what you're suggesting. I mean, I'm going to give you my suggestion. Everybody has a flat tax. Doesn't matter who you are. One flat tax, 25%, A to Z. Unless you make under 50 grand, then you only got to pay like 12%. Boom. It's fair. It's the only thing that's fair. If a guy makes $1 billion a year, he still pays $250 million in taxes. That ain't fair. If a guy makes $1 billion a year, you're going to tell me that him giving $250 million of his dollars to you or the government isn't fair? I mean, geez, that's crazy, man. Well, how would you feel if that was you? So I'm just saying 25, anybody who makes 50 grand a year, and make it even, man. If you make 50 grand, 500 grand, 500 million, 25, that's how I would do it. Maybe not the answer, but it's how I would do it. Trump, 750, what is that, 750 what? Less taxes. Yeah, exactly, we need less taxes, not more. I go way down. So taxes need to be used to help citizens instead of hurt them. Yeah, well, you guys, listen, man, listen. I don't know how much you know about how it all really works. I don't want to make this like a political show where I'm going on a political rant. I have so much to say. What I will say is this, man. The Democrats took I don't know, several $100 billion, 100 billion in fat, pork fat, and slid it in there into the COVID bill and said, here, now pass this. Of course, Joe, because he's a pussy, he's got no backbone, and he's in it for all his cronies. The whole thing was, he got all the calls from his aides and senators saying, we want this, and we want that, and we want this, and we'll give you that, and we'll give you that. Of course, so he takes it, he says, smiles at the camera, everybody, you're going to get $1,400. Woo-wee, $1,400. I'm going to save your life. And then they steal $300 billion from you. $300 billion. It goes to just transgender studies in Afghanistan, 75 million. More than, I think it was like 175 million. It's just what was the real funny one? 2.2 billion to black emotionally distressed businesses, black businesses, emotionally distressed black businesses. Well, I identify as a black, and so can I get some of them billions? You know what I'm saying? If I can't identify black, then you're racially discriminating. Can I get mad at that? Have a rally and a riot? I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just crazy. I'm just saying. I can't. Can I? Hold on a second. Yeah, I know they're all this way. It's one way. It's you can't one side or the other. I don't know which is better, but I will say that the $300 billion that was stolen from this bill came mostly from the Democrats. Obviously some from the Republicans, I'm sure too. I mean, no doubt, but because they're like, hey, I don't care, I'll sign it. So people, here's the thing. I would rather say keep the $1,400. I mean, I get it. Some people are broken; they need the money. Of course, they're like, yeah, give me. And a lot of people are. I get it, but if I wasn't, which I'm not, and if it came down to me saying, hey, listen, keep my freaking 2,800 household, and let's fight this scam that they're doing with the pork fat. Don't sign the bill. Tell them to go back out. Pull that $100 billion out for this and $100 billion out for that, and say, well, I'm not going to sign it till then. Then I'll sign it. If the Democrats don't care. They don't care about. It's all borrowed money. It's fiat money. You know what fiat money is? It doesn't risk. It's like monopoly money. They just borrow it from China and say, hey, we'll pay you. Don't worry. We got the money. Hey, give the people $1,400. Yeah, we'll steal these billions. So you got a small elect group. And then the craziest part is that the Democrats are always talking about the elite, these elite billionaires. They're the ones, the elite billionaires, the ones that are running the world and screwing the little man, the workman. These elite billionaires, they name a few. You know what I'm saying? Donald Trump, he's the perfect one. Then what they do is they create this system of checks and balances that makes them the real one percenters. These are men and women in Washington that rank in maybe 600-700 men and women, and they are all tied together, cronyism, and they divvy up trillions of dollars. Your dollars, my dollars. Divvy it right up. This foundation gets that. This nonprofit gets this. This gets that. We'll appropriate, $100 million for this, $1 billion for that. So this 600 people, if you divvy up, $1.7 trillion between 600 people, they're all making tens of millions of dollars, all of them. So meanwhile, they're saying to us, here's $1,400, piss ants. Go away, be quiet. Take your little $1,400, be quiet. We're going to take these trillions and run. You don't need to know nothing about that. Mind your business, mind your business. You know what I'm saying? Look the other way. Yes, hit like for Gunner. Hit the like button. 43 people watching, 29 likes. Come on now. When the big boy Blue says, when the money comes out, the stock markets go wild for a couple of days, get at it and get the hell out. Yeah, I know. Sandra G, that's my girl, Sandy. Touche, sister. And new programs that will work and can rebuild and regrow out. I mean, I'm not speaking in terms of taxing individuals. I'm spending tax dollars. Take a fraction of the military budget or just eliminate programs that what the hell? I'm reading. Eliminate programs that are already failing and invest in new programs. Oh, I'm all about that, bro. Hell yeah. There's a lot of failing programs. There's a lot of programs that suck and aren't doing nothing. I redo welfare. You want to know how I redo welfare? Pretty simple. You get welfare for 12 months. In that 12 months, we try to find you a job. We try to find you, job training, job placement, whatever we can to get you on your feet. But you have it for 12 months. At the end of 12 months, then we're going to give you a job. It's not going to be a great job, but it's a job, because the department, the social service department's job, they could, most of them don't, some of them work hard, so I won't say that, but there'll be a department that finds these jobs. There's always jobs for everybody. You can get a job for everyone. And so now the government tells these people, mom with 4 kids, listen, you have to go to work. We'll give you daycare vouchers or whatever, but you're not going to be on welfare anymore. You're actually going to go to work. You're going to burn, kind of build a legacy for yourself. You're going to, self-worth and learn the value of a dollar and hard working and blah, blah, blah. And, work your way up. Maybe we can find you a better job, and we'll keep working and getting your training and this, that, done, but we'll help you. And as long as they're working hard and trying, we will continue to put them into some job training, help them with classes, whatever, help them with vouchers for daycare, whatever. Boom. And get them on their feet. But if they decide that they're too lazy and they don't want to do that, well, then they don't get the welfare anymore. So what are they going to do? Let me tell you what's going to happen in that case. Government says, well, we're sorry, little Sandy. Not Sandy D, that girl Sandy. Sorry, little Sandy is a cute name to say. Say, we can't give you a check no more. We offered to, give you a job. You don't want to work for it. What can we do? Just give you free money and free Section 8 housing and free. So that means take everything. So you get it all for 12 months. Section 8, welfare, insurance, food, it's all good. We'll help you get on your feet. As soon as you freaking go to work, but if you quit your job and say, no, then you don't get it back. It's over for you, for good, never again. So what happens in that case? Let me tell you what happens in that case. I'm going to bring this up on my radio show, too, this exact scenario. So what happens in that case, like one of 3 things. So the person could basically cease to exist. They die, like, Darwinism. They can't sustain themselves. They can't provide for themselves or their family, so they starve and they die. The odds of that happening are probably pretty slim, unless they're really bad off. So the second option is to go to family and say, can I live with family? Will you take care of me? And the third is to get a job and go. But if they do go, what'll happen is they'll go to a friend's family's house, right? Friends or family or uncle or aunt or somebody, and say, listen, I got these 3 kids, man. The government cut me off of welfare because I wouldn't work. So now they're like, so I got to take care of you? So you're going to come to my freaking house? Well, here's the deal. Get a freaking job and pay your things, save up, get the frick out of here. That's what's going to be said. Now, if you don't do that and they kick you out, you burn another bridge or whatever. At the end of the day, if you burn every bridge of person that you get in there, all because you're lazy and don't want to work and you don't want to do nothing, don't expect me to pay for it. Why would you expect me to pay for it? Why would you expect my wife and you and all these people out there to pay for your life? You don't even want to work. We're supposed to pay for your food, your house, your health care, your school, we're going to pay for it. And we know damn well that you don't even like us. Well, what's Nick talking about? Crime will increase drastically and there will be chaos if that happened, Al. What happened? Not sure what you mean. Nick? You're not sure what would happen. I'm saying, I don't get what you mean. Please, repeat. I respect your question. So the children suffer if the mother wants to stay home and take care of her children. Hence why we have to do. Well, yeah, the mother wants to stay home. If the mother wants to stay home and be with her children, she should be married, have a husband, or money in the bank. But she doesn't get the choice of saying, you know what? I don't think I want to work. I want to be home with my kids. So, hey, you, America, pay for my rent, pay for my food, pay for my housing, pay for my kids' dirty diapers, pay for it all. Because I'd rather stay home and be home. It don't work like that. So if you want to be, what happens in that case is the mom's got to get her ass off her ass and go to work. And the more she works, the more money she makes, the more time she can spend home with her, she saves her money, whatever. But the normal thing, it would be like, hey, Hunter, what's up, buddy? Thank you. Love you, bro. Love you too. The normal thing would be for them to do is work. And then when they're working, they're showing their child, this is how it's done. Value a dollar, work hard, bust your ass. Anyways, that was my work. Oh, I'm not sure what Nick was saying, but that's my reason for if he was asking me about taxes. Get married before you have a kid. Thank you. Most women these days are more afraid to get married than they are to have a kid. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is no offense, ladies, man, but if you can't be, that's the thing, man. I look at these women in the ghetto, black and white. Won't say both. They're 20 years old and they got 5 freaking kids. How about use a condom? How about using some birth control? Something. You that big of a hoe bag that you can't do that? You're gonna bump out 5 kids, so we gotta pay for them because you ain't paying for them. Daddy ain't paying for them. Daddies, let's face it, daddies ain't paying for them. So we gotta pay for them. Stop being a hoe and be a respectable, grown adult woman who says, I'm gonna get married someday and have a kid, maybe 2, when I can afford it, and only when I can afford it. That's the only people I have empathy for. Bounty hunter, what I'm trying to say, if people cut off their welfare, there would be crime and riots. Listen, okay, Nick, there would be crime and riots, but you're not going to do it all in one day, Nick. You're going to give every person a chance. It wouldn't be crime and riots. There would be probably some protests because those are the people who would cause the riots and are the people being cut off. Yeah. Well, here's the thing: you have an opportunity. We helped you get schooling, training, a job. Everything. Pay for your daycare, pay for your house rent, food, everything, pay for it. So here it is. Work. No? Okay, well, they're not paying for no more. So everybody would get an opportunity. And I think most people, after given a chance to work a job, a normal job, or have nothing, and I think they're going to choose the job. And then it would also give people drive and ambition to actually want to excel. Meaning, you know what, this job that I'm making, $25 an hour, it's okay, and it pays the bills. It's better than being on welfare, but I think I'm better than this. I think I deserve more than that. I think if I went to school and got this degree or certification or advance or whatever, then I could do this, and I'd be worth $35 or $40 or $50 an hour. That's the incentive. Now, when you give somebody some welfare and just say, hey, don't do nothing but play video games and smoke cigarettes, it don't matter to you if you're not paying for it. That's the thing. The only people who will say this matters to them is the people who's paying for it. Like me, where they take part of my check. When I look at my paycheck and go, what the are you kidding me? How much money they take? What are they doing with this money? Oh, paying for illegal aliens. Paying for people in the ghetto who've been on welfare for years, for all their kids in their little Nike Jordan size 3s. I'm paying for all that. I'm like, man, listen, I can't approve of it. I just won't. People don't have no pride in themselves, exactly. Anthony Davis says, do I know Jeff Carnesi, Mob Talk host? No. Jeff Carnesi is a mental retard, really. I don't know him. I've had one exchange for him, then he made some lies about me. I said to him one time, via Facebook message, I said, hey man, would you like to have me on your show? It's like 4 years ago. He wrote back one word, no. Wrote back one word, why? He blocked me. I don't know, a few months later, somebody says, Jeff Carnesi, which by the way, it's not even his real name. He's like an Irish dude from Virginia, just so you know. He's not from New York or Philly or nothing like that. He's some dorky white mob gangster wannabe from Virginia or something. But he said that he told some people like in an interview or on a show or something. Somebody sent me the audio. They're like, he said that you threatened to smash his head in with a bat because he didn't want to have you on your show in his show. And he said that I called Victoria Gotti, the C word. I'm like, what the frick? This is weird. So this is a really weird thing for someone to say about another person. Clearly, he don't know anything about me. I would never say, I would never say, call any woman the C word. No, I would never, because anybody who knows me was like, this dude would never say that. Never that. So I don't know. And the thing was, I'm friends with Victoria Gotti. I've had conversations with her on Facebook privately, on Messenger. It was regarding her brother's movie was coming out when the movie came out. And I did an interview with Jimmy A. Light, and she messaged me. She said, would you do me a favor and take that A. Light video down, the Jimmy A. Light video? It just looks bad for the movie comes. The movie just coming out this week. We don't want bad press. I said, yeah, no problem. That's nice, no problem. And I did. And she was like, yeah. I said, yeah, I'll send you a shirt or something from our thing. She's like, nah, it's not my thing. It never was. I was like, all right, good. Well, God bless. So this Carnesi dude was telling people that I threatened to smash his head with a bat, which I know for a fact I didn't say. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you I would have never said that in a million years because I was on parole. I was on parole at the time. So I would have never in a million years said that on parole. Never. I would have been like, all I said was, want to have me on? He says, no. I said, why? Thinking, does it like do something to offend you or something? And he said, no, I think he just didn't know who I was. He probably didn't know who I was. Because he's definitely the kind of guy, he's from that sphere of New York mob sphere thing where if it's not New York, they don't even think it's mob. Like they don't even think there's a mob really. They know there is, but in their mind it's so centered on New York and Philly and New Jersey that they think like really like Detroit's just a small little satellite pocket, like a crew or something, like this little wannabe crew. Now I realize that Detroit is way more powerful than any one family in New York. Way more. It's just I won't get into how I can assure you that is the case, but listen when I tell you, in the grand scheme of just big pocket full of money, they are. So, anyways, so these guys are Carnesi. Yeah, he's goofy. He's a goofy ass dude, bro. I don't even know why he would say that, but I don't really care either. Bounty hunter, I would do her. Who's that? I get dividends for doing nothing but holding it and buying it down, so I feed it. Well, yeah, we all want to. You mean part 5? What the hell? I just got a text that came through. It just said, "You mean part 5?" It's from Mike Yarbrough, who was the guy that I had on my show, who says he saw Jimmy Hoffa get buried alive in cement, which I'm not denying is a possibility. He just wrote me back. He's like, part 5? What the hell does that even mean? And then I realized I knew what it was because Eric Shawn and Fox News are doing a part 5 on the Hoffa special that they're doing. I didn't realize that was part 4. I thought it was part 3. I don't know. Whatever. That's Loman. Let me see. John Light is full of himself. Nobody has ever heard of him. OG Bigfoot. Well, I don't know, man. A-Light, I believe, was a genuine tough guy, and he wanted to be a mobster. I think worse than most freaking Italian mobsters want to be, and maybe he had something to prove. Felt like he had something to prove because he was Albanian, or I think he's probably a tough guy, just not as tough as he thinks he is. I mean, I'd say that right to his face. I'd say it right to him right now. I think you're probably a tough guy, but not really as tough as you thought you were, man. I think you just didn't run into anybody who was really tough. And if you had, then you wouldn't be talking so tough. But I'm just saying, I don't think he would have freaking, the way he acted, he would have been a target in Detroit. But I mean, I heard he ain't scared to pull the trigger and shoot. So I mean, anyone can kill somebody. That's the easy part. And would have you done that? Maybe. I know it says he did. I don't know if he has. I know a lot of people say he's full of crap. Don't believe him. I'm like, I don't know what to believe. I don't really know the guy's story. I just know he's kind of cocky and douchey. So I'm just like, I say douchey. I'm just saying, it's just who he is. It's not even douchey. I mean, he probably looks at me and says the same thing. Probably looks at me and thinks the same thing. That guy's kind of cocky, kind of douchey. But he isn't what he is. But I mean, maybe. So, honey, did you let Nika in?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, just making sure. Peace out, brother. Jeremy, have a good one, man. Since the missus works for the Wall Street company, what are some good investments going right now? Well, I have some people on here, like right there, Big Boy Blue. He's an investor. So my wife works for a company that aggregates stock market analytics. Huge company that just has a whole team of like 70 guys, people who just take all this information and based on this information, put it into like mock portfolios and then sell it to libraries or it's a big deal though. They're really good. They're like 90% of the time they're right. So I mean, it's pretty impressive. They've been around for 100 years. So anyways, I don't know what stock. Honey, you got any hot stocks or cryptos? Man, my crypto advisor just told me there's a new crypto out. It's at 05. He messaged me like this morning. It's called.
Why didn't you send it to me?
I forgot. I'm gonna go through it. It's in my messenger.
Yeah,
I think it's like some Turo or something. I can't remember.
I don't do stocks, but if anybody is really heavily into trading, I can give them a trial of the database.
If anybody's really heavily into training, my wife says, she can give you a trial of the database, which they do sell for individuals, but it'd be something great for your business. Let's say you own a business. What kind of business could profit from your database?
Well, I mean, we mostly sell to investors.
Well, she says she mostly sells to investors and banks and people like that. But if having this thing,
Do you have any kind of like investment portfolio at all?
yeah, if you have any kind of investment portfolio, the thing is, if this is how slick you could be, if you took this database and based on that database, simply just tried to aggregate or acquire investors who would trust you, like, just say, hey, listen, like a hedge fund almost. Get, 100 people, all of them to give you $1,000. And I say, okay, give me this $100,000. And then using just this database, if you did it the right way, following their lead, you would make money.
Wow. It's not that easy.
Well, I know it's not that easy, but you would make money. They're right 90% of the time, right?
I don't know percentages, but they've been around for 90 years. So.
90 years. So they're around. So obviously.
By the way, I made you some blondies.
What'd you make me?
Blondies? Have you ever had a blondie?
What's a blondie?
Ask them if they know what a blondie is.
She said she made me some blondies. I thought I smelled something. It's something baked, I think.
Never had a blondie.
I don't know. She said you had. I never had a blonde. I never was into blondes. I like brunettes. I've always liked brunettes. That's it. She said, well, what's a blondie? If it requires milk, might as well bring it. I'm not joking. What are you doing?
What?
I mean, I'll take a bite while I'm on camera. I don't care. I want to taste it. Come on. Just saying. Oh, D Moore. My dog. D Moore, my neighbor. Dan says, Maria says hi, Dan. D Moore. I mean, that's a great name in itself, if you think about it. My boy D Moore. And in Detroit, there's B Moore, which is Brightmoor in the neighborhood. D Moore. It's my boy D Moore. Anyways, I went out with D Moore last night, my buddy, Dan Moore. He took me to dinner last night. And we had a nice dinner, beautiful dinner. It was nice. I had fun. It was a fun time. I haven't been out to dinner since the last time he took me out to dinner, like 3 months ago. It's funny because I texted him. I'm like, yo, man, we need to hang out more, man. You're like my only neighbor friend, whatever. And then I say that neighbor. This is how you know you live far out in the boondocks. And I'm like, this is my neighbor. He's taking me out to dinner. I'm like, he lives like 25 miles from me, man. But I don't know. I would say, no, it's more 15 miles. I'd say 20. It's 20 miles. I don't care. I'm just saying he's my boy, but still, it's like a neighbor. He lives in a little town like 20 miles away, but it's still neighbors. When you live up in the boondocks, we live in the middle of nowhere, man. So we had to go to the nearest main town. Dan, don't say where that is. Nobody needs to know. Oh. What'd she make me?
Blondie.
She made me a blondie. Oh, it smells good. Huh? It's like a chocolate chip cake. I like that. Don't think she spoils me like that, though. I mean, she does, but it seems like the last few times. Oh, we did talk about that. But she's always nice and makes me something to eat while I'm having my show, which I'm grateful for. I would say she doesn't spoil me, but she does. Yeah, she spoils me. I mean, pretty bad. I don't cook enough for her, man. I need to cook more for her. I used to cook for her a lot. When I first got out, I would cook for her like about as much as she cooked for me. I like to cook. I'm a good cook. That's the thing, man. Why are so many men not good cooks? Like, why are so many men?
Because their wives are.
No, man. Are we lazy? What's the deal, man? Why are men not good at cooking? Well, one of the things is I know it's a cultural thing. Like, I'm raised in an Italian house, and you spend a lot of time in the kitchen with your aunts, your sisters, your mother, and whatever, and they're all. And so.
I only give the patience.
I don't have the patience for what? Huh? Me?
I mean, like regularly.
She said I don't have the patience to cook. I cook all the time. Not regularly, but I used to. I have the patience to cook. You saying I don't have patience?
No, I'm saying to take over, like, you want to take over Monday, Wednesday, Friday? I'll do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday?
No. Nope. Good.
That's what I thought.
How about, what's the worst day for you of the week? And I'll take over that day.
Mondays.
So I'll cook Monday. Okay, I cook tomorrow. What am I cooking?
Meat.
Meat. That's dessert too, girl. Huh?
How's your body?
My blindy's good. I want to smash the whole thing, but I got people sitting
Yeah,
there.
okay. Just want to make sure.
Had Jazz Pizza today. Supposedly a Detroit style crust could be my new favorite pizza, the Buster. The Buster, man. Now that was a Buster thing to say, Buster. I'm just saying. I've been just complaining about pizza. There's no pizza up here, none. And she buys these frozen ones once in a while. They look good, but you eat them and you're just like, what? And every time, I think I've had like one good frozen pizza in my life, which was weird, man. It was up in the UP, Upper Peninsula, while living off the grid. We had maybe I was really hungry. Whatever the case is, I miss some pizza, man. Jets is my number 2 probably, but I still like Howie's better. Hungry Howie's, man, yeah. Howie's doesn't have a Detroit style pizza, not that I know of. They probably do if you ask for it. Imagine. Kenneth Ledford said, "You're right, Gunner. Oh, just smash it." Sandy said, "Just smash it." Yeah, I want to. I just don't want to look like a savage. Cooking once a week. I'll cook. Yeah, once a week. I like to cook, man. Joe Schuler, you got to run. Well, man, got a truck, man. I'm working at it. Well, thanks for stopping by, brother. Anyways, hope you got to hear this last say goodbye, but be good. And show some love. Dan says, show some love, people. Hit the button. So, yes. Please do that. I'm just looking at something. There's some people who have really thoughtful questions. I don't want to miss them. Do you have to be clean shaver to be in the mob? Like Donnie Brasco. The Buster said, do you have to be a clean shaver to be in the mob? I don't know, man. Frankly, I never knew that there was never a rule. They just like you to look clean and like natty, you know. I think you get away with a light beard like me if you're a younger guy, or a goatee maybe, but not all the time. But I do know some mob guys, some skippers, some bosses who would make their guys shave. Yeah. So if you walked up with a goatee, if I walked up looking like this, they'd be like, he would literally say, "Take your ass home. Don't come back till you get a shaver." He's what he would do. He'd pull out $20 and hand it to me and go hit the barbershop and like this. That's kind of douche, not douche, but kind of. At least he would do that. Here, go hit the barbershop, man. You're looking rough, bang. Give me $20. I was always pretty clean faced back in the day. I didn't really wear a beard, or I don't grow like a full beard now because it itches really bad. So I can't like I break out in a rash. Yes, I'm eating this thing. Rick Mancini, out of the blue. Who's your favorite NFL team and bodybuilder if you ever had one? Well, I mean, these days I don't really pay attention much to either one of them, but obviously the Lions were always my favorite. And second to that was New England, so doing good. I've been a New England fan since way back in the day, so I mean, it was always my second team next to the Lions. So football was my first love. I'm a scientist when it comes to that thing, to football, like diagnosing the defense and offense and just playing. And then bodybuilder was Dorian Yates, probably. I got a lot of favorite bodybuilders. I had to pick one I thought was the best built of all. It would be like maybe Flex Wheeler, Sean Ray. I don't know, but then anyways, yeah, it's freaking steroids. I mean, it's really bodybuilding is 90% genetics, 10% steroids. So otherwise, you're just Do you believe in pasta in a box? D. Henry, do you believe in pasta in a box? Yeah, man. You can have pasta in a box and make it good. I mean, yeah, I made it. My grandma used to make it from scratch. And to be honest with you, I like store-bought pasta better than scratch pasta. But from scratch pasta was always kind of doughy and like, I don't know. I preferred regular. We ate pasta every day, by the way. Rigatoni was my favorite, but anything spirally was good. I did like masticholi and penne. But I mean, we ate it every day. 7 days a week, we had pasta, just so you know. So it could be anything, any kind of pasta. It was changed every day, but You repeat about once every 10 days. You know, how many pastas you can get. The sauce was the same though. It was always the same sauce, which you never got tired of. That was the best part. Sugo. So you just never get raw. I mean, every day it's the first thing you did is you get pasta, a big thing of pasta in a bowl, and then the sugo, boop, you do a little Parmesan cheese, boom, salt, pepper. You're about to smash that. All right, now put a steak or something on my plate. We can get party start. That's how it was. You ever want to be in movies, Ale, or just provide the story? Nicholas Greenwood. I would be in movies if I thought it was gonna be fun. It had to be fun. Otherwise, I'm perfectly fine with just providing stories. Now, if I went to work one day on a set and they wanted me to act and play a role, whatever role that was, maybe even playing myself, that would be fun. It'd be easy, you know, just play me. I would, if after like a couple of days, if I thought, man, this is really lame and it's too time consuming and hard even or something like that, I'd be like, nah, just cast somebody to play me. I'm out of here. I'm going fishing. Money, you know, it's not even worth the money. But I have a feeling that if I had the right director and casting people around me and you put me on a set, that I'd have a lot of fun. I would roll with it. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, all right, what do you want? Tell the director, like, what are you looking to get out of this character? And what's the ultimate end game? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's going to be, you want that's who you want? So then I would try to beat him. And hopefully that guy had a little bit of me in him or whatever he is, because it's easier to play me than anyone else. I'm just saying. George Chaos. I can never get it right. Chaos. It's a tough one, man. Lee Haney, Dorian Yates, but Ronnie Coleman, yeah, is best ever. Yeah. Those are, yeah, exactly. Ronnie Coleman is a great choice for greatest ever, and Lee Haney's another one. Dorian, all different body types, but all greats in their own time. You know, just everybody has their personal. I think my personal favorite ever would be Flex Wheeler, in my opinion. So but he was also short too. I kind of like the taller guys. You know, Flex Wheeler was only like 5'7", I think. You know, like, tall bodybuilders are like 5'7", 5'10". There are a few big giant ones, but not me. Rigatoni is my favorite. Yeah, that's good stuff. How do you think your first radio show went? I was tuned in. Oh, that's a great one. That's a great question. My radio show, I think it went good. I think, you know, I learned a couple of things from this radio show, like the timing sequence, you know, how the intro will go and how the exits will go. Also, I talked too fast, and I'll tell you why. I know it sounds crazy, but yeah, I write down some notes here, right? Just a couple of notes like I did today. You know how many notes I got to today? None. 0. So, but when I was glancing at them, I was seeing things that I wanted to talk about or get my point across or whatever, and I was like on something else. So I start talking faster to get through that, so I could get to this, to get to the point of this, and then get back to this, which I never did. So, and then it'll probably be pretty much how my show goes most of the time, mostly like that. Which reminds me,
You can slow it down.
I need to slow it down. What?
I said you can slow it down.
I can slow it down. Yeah, I can slow it down. It's easy. I'll just slow it down. You know.
You don't get to it, right?
Easy. If I don't get to it, I don't get to it. What are you gonna do? See how easy it is? Slow it down a little bit. So everybody's happy, eh? You know what? I got some jobs I'm trying to get here going on. Okay, so like 5 different people over the last 2 years have asked me. They think, would you be interested in doing like an animated version of you? Sounds weird, but they're like, take these stories that you say on in your show. If you could just animate you because your facial expressions or the things you say or whatever, they would animate you and then just basically like it'd be your show. If half of it was like with this animated character, like the Boondocks character, and half it was you. He's like, it's becoming a big thing. We want to do it. I said, yeah, that sounds funny. I'd love to do that. And, like, and then they never followed through with it. They never called me and said, let's roll. So you know, anybody who can do that, I think that would be fun. And let me know. And then, you know, this is gonna sound crazy, but I need an assistant. So if anyone would like to volunteer to be my assistant, it'll pay a lot of money when I get the money. When you help me get the money. So it's kind of like a sales rep. The more you help me make me, the more I will pay you. Could be like huge. And that's how most managers start their jobs, and most agents start off like that. And people, you know what I'm saying, start off just trying to help a guy like me and determined to help him. So I'm not joking. I just got a lot. I can have a hard time keeping track of everything, including the apparel company. Just a million little things. If I could just text it off onto somebody, you know what I mean? Just like, can you handle this? Can you call this person? Can you do that? Can you schedule this? Can you? If I just had a little bit of help, that would be awesome. Because it's getting to the point where I can't keep up, man. And I think my brain is half messed up from the medication I take for my headaches. So I don't know if I got short-term memory problems or what the deal is, man. But it could be the case. So I guess the only other the thing I did want to talk about today, which I don't necessarily have to get through, or a a social media manager too. I mean, if you know anyone who's a good one who knows what the hell they're doing, let me know. Because I don't have time to sit there and play games on Facebook and try to make Facebook is a joke. I mean, that's one thing. What happened? I had a page already. Facebook is the biggest freaking. It's this bottomless pit of stupidity, and still I'm getting ads of saying that they can make money for me via Facebook ads. I don't see it. I don't see anything on Facebook but a bunch of freaking morons for the most part. Not everybody, even there's a handful of people that are still normal and just do it because they're bored or whatever. But most of the people on Facebook are there because they can't even afford Netflix. And they're just nothing to do. So they just jump on that endless sinkhole that is Facebook for hours and banter back and forth and scroll through. But the people on Facebook aren't buying $20 novels. They're not reading 500-page novels. They're not spending $37 on a new athletic shirt or whatever. They're just not saying it. They're not going to do it. So for the most part, so that's not my market. But I do need help with building my Instagram. See, that's one of the things. I missed out on an opportunity to actually be a character in a video game. This is kind of cool, and it still could come about at some point. But this thing called celebrity slots, where they I don't know exactly how it works, but you win an exchange with me or something. But they do it with celebrities, and then every time somebody wins and they have an exchange, the celebrity gets paid, whatever. I don't know what it is. So they were gonna do one where it's like mob guys. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Sammy DeBoll and Larry Mazza and Michael Francis. And so in the end, the only one who's got numbers is Sammy DeBoll. Like I don't have enough numbers, although I have good search result numbers. I don't have huge social media numbers or YouTube numbers, which Sammy does. So he's the only one who would have any worth. But I thought it was funny because at some point, if I get up there, if somebody gets me, helps me get there, and the number's up, then
I mean, if we just played the lotto, I'd help you. I'd be your assistant if we won the lotto.
what's going to happen is I'll get one real gig, major money making gig, one deal, an option for my book or TV show or something, or somebody will buy into Art Thing Apparel and buy a chunk of it, buy it out. And then I'll just pay my wife to do it, everything. Not everything, not like that, but kind of more pay her to manage me. She does it already, so why not give her what she's worth, which it'd be in the six figures, for sure. And then she could just hang out with me, but just also make sure that I'm, on track and need to be where I'm supposed to be, which most of the time should be fishing. That's what I'm saying. Most of the time, if things work out right, then our next destination should be the next fishing spot. I'm just saying. Not joking. You gotta be careful. You don't sound like a drunk Kevin James. I got it. That's. Oh yeah. When I'm talking slow. Yeah. Before I go, let's start wrapping this up. Let me see. Rick Adderall is your friend for the radio gig. Not really. Don't want that. Before I go, because I want to wind it down. I figured 2 hours is pretty much like my max. My head starts hurting, losing my voice. But I've been watching this show called Designated Survivor. Oh, well, Sandy just sent me a message. All right, cool. Why don't I keep calling it designated survivors? It's designated what, honey?
Designated survivor.
It is designated survivor. What did I call it yesterday?
Lost survivor.
Lost survivor. Last survivor. Designated. I was calling it last survivor. So designated survivor. Kiefer Sutherland. good show. We decided we're gonna have some romantic time every night. What we're gonna do right now. I'm like, we're gonna sit here and watch the show for an hour, sometimes 2 hours, sometimes 3. If it's like a Friday or Saturday night. So we watched this show, the Frontier show, which is good, called with Jason Momoa in it. We only had 2 seasons, so we blew through that. There was a show called The Last Survivor. Designated Survivor. Jeez. And it's with Kiefer Sutherland. He's like this low-level congressman who was the designated survivor in case the whole cabinet and Congress was to die at once, which they do, because president was given the State of the Union. Everybody was wiped out in the Capitol. The whole Capitol was blew up and killed everyone. So this low-level congressman who was like the HUD House supervisor dude, he becomes the president. And so it starts, the story kind of builds around him and his staff and his young staff. And they're really good, really smart, really funny. I said this on my radio show a couple of days ago, but not everybody was listening to my radio show, so I'm going to repeat it. Nicholas Greenwood, since you watched the whole show, and I'm sure a couple of you have, you heard this already, but the show had 2 seasons, and what made it really fun and cool for me is like they're super smarty, witty young people, like under 30s. Now Kiefer Sutherland's he's like 55 in the show, and then the staff on the average is like 30 or less. And they're this really like good-looking, super genius Princeton, Yale grad type of, cadre of people. And they're and of course you would be like that to work in the White House. You would be, a brilliant, probably genius or bordering on genius, Asperger's type of people. Asperger's. Why would they name it Asperger's? That's weird. I'm just saying that. I had this conversation earlier with my wife. But so we enjoyed the banter between these people, and I thought it was cool. I'm like, I think all of us kind of, at one time or another, let's face it, we've all thought, man, wouldn't it have been dope to like graduated from Harvard, top of my class, and been super like brilliant and articulate to the point where the White House might say, hey, would you like to be my chief of staff? Would you like to be my special advisor to whatever? And you're like, yeah, for you, I'll do it for the president. I'll take the job. Wouldn't you like to be that smart? Yeah. Well, these kids are, so it's cool. Watch them. They had a great like dynamic, and they were really funny, and they had the best banter and witticism. And then 2 seasons go by, and by the way, 2 seasons were 43 episodes. It was by ABC's the one who produced it, or CBS, whatever. ABC. 43 episodes. And then they sell it to Netflix for whatever reason. I think their cost was too high. They had even brought in some more characters. It was really good. An incredible set. The set just like the White House. Actually, I think they made it more like commercial than the actual real White House. But anyways, the Netflix takes over, and the next thing you know, in the 3rd season, which was yesterday, we're curled up on the couch. Or was it yesterday? It was the day before. Curled up on the couch, and we're listening, and it's the season's this first season back since the first show back since the last season, and I thought I heard drop an F-bomb. They have never cursed, never said anything vile or foul or vulgar or nothing like that. And they're very professional, which is how you would be. That's exactly what it would be like in the White House. People like walking around dropping F-bombs and freaking the B word and S word. They wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that out of respect for the office, out of respect for the building, out of respect for the people around you. You just never would do that. And then they're like, yeah, I hear an F-bomb. I'm like, oh, did you just say the F-word? And she's like, no, they would never do that. They'd never do that. I'm like, I don't think so. I swear, it sounded like an F-bomb to me, man. And like 5 minutes later, she says the S word. I said, did you see that? Man, you hear that yet? She's like, I did hear that. It's weird. And I'm like, that is weird. What the frick is going on? And the next thing you know, like, another F-bomb. I'm like, I told you it was freaking. And then we're sitting there listening. And the next thing you know, all in this one first episode, they introduced this young black kid who's gay. The we find out that the president's sister-in-law is a transgender. Used to be a man. Is man. We find. I mean, and then like this bad villain slash turned good guy that was part of the crazy, ridiculous FBI plot. He's like this black dude who's smarter than Einstein. And then you have these. They just really push the stereotypes and the racial equality and the gender neutral or awareness. It just is horrible, man. And they're dropping f bombs and s bombs, and I'm just thinking, God, this is so uncomfortable. I'm gonna watch it just because I want to see where the story goes. I do like the story, and I do like Seth, even though he's dropping f bombs and stuff, and Emily, and even she's dropping it and called him a pussy right in front of the president. I'm like, yeah, your chief of staff is gonna call one of the other staff a pussy right in front of the. Because I mean, come on, man. So what happened was, CBS sold this beautiful show, well produced, highbrow, high quality, classy show to a trashy dirtbag like Netflix. Or maybe it wasn't even Netflix. Maybe Netflix just aired it, and maybe some other company bought it.
No, Netflix produced it.
All right, she said Netflix produced it and made it, and just turned it into just like the leftist liberal propaganda, show. And it was horrible. It was uncomfortable, and it was really bad. And I was like, they ruined it. So it lasted 10 seasons, and it's dead. Of course it is. What do you think? You got? Excuse me. It lasted 10 episodes. So 10 more episodes, and then they tanked it. Of course they tanked it. What do you think? I mean, people watch a show like this. The people who watch a show like this, the market for the show like this, is not freaking like dumb, uneducated, ghetto-ass morons who are going to be sitting there dropping F-bombs and freaking scratching their balls while they're drinking a 40. No, they're intelligent people who actually would be offended by the fact that these people like this who are supposed to represent, the house of the president or whatever, cursing and dropping F-bombs and just made it such a propaganda piece. It was painful. So I'll finish it, but I mean, I just wanted to say, it's crazy with the world that we live in. That's where it goes. They took a perfectly good show and ruined it. George says he's aggravated that I'm not higher in the subs. Your content is better than most. We spoke together about this. People don't think like we do anymore, maybe, but you're gonna blast to the top for sure. Well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. And somebody, Roxy PC, thank you. Lola J, one has to go. Muscle cars, sports cars. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna go with muscle cars. Get rid of them. I'll take a sports car. I'll take a Ferrari or a Lambo. It's funny though. Panda will knock you out. That panda will knock you out. That panda will knock you out. Dirty Weather. Hello. Dirty Weather, where am I from? Then you don't know who I am then, huh? Dirty Weather says, where are you from? In the middle of my live stream. You must not know me good, man. From Detroit. I'm going to watch a couple videos. Is the Italian American Festival cranking this year? I don't know, Ryan Hand. My guess is maybe. I don't know. I'm probably not going to do it, though. It ain't worth it to me. I mean, I make good money, and it's fun, but it's super grueling and hot and tiring, and the trip down, it's just, it ain't worth it, man. I'd rather not make the money, to be honest with you. I'll wait for another stimulus check. If I needed the money, I would, but I'm not saying that I don't need the money, but I'm not going to die without an extra couple $1,000. And it's now if I was like, yo, we had no choice. One year, I mean, she wasn't working, she was laid off, and we were just like, literally checked the tag. We had nothing. I'm like, it looks like we're doing an Italian festival. And I borrowed the money from somebody. They gave me the money for the inventory and my books. And I went down there, boom, and made a few grand. The guy gave us a couple, breathing room for a month or something. I hear Elon Musk just got a bunch of money into Dodge.
No, Dogecoin, not Dodge.
It says Dodge.
Well, they're wrong. It means Dogecoin.
I think it means Dogecoin.
Yeah, Dogecoin.
It says Dodge.
He has no money in Dodge. Or I don't think he does, but that's not what he does.
Yeah, why would he? He could, though. Why wouldn't he? He could buy out Dodge.
I'm saying he couldn't.
He can't buy out Dodge. That's crazy. He's got money, but not that much money.
Is Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. Doge. Is it Russian? Doge. Dogecoin. One has to go. The Matrix 1, Terminator 1, Predator. Are you crazy? Terminator 1 is the greatest movie of all time. No joke. Is it not, honey? What? But when you asked me, what was it? What is my favorite movie of all time? Terminator 1. Yeah. So I don't care that the other ones can go. I don't. But those are all great movies. God, that's a hard question. Matrix 1, Terminator 1, or Predator 1? Oh, no, those are all great movies. All great movies. I think I'd take, I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one. Let me see. Doge. Yeah, he said, he said he fixed it. I have QBTC. What does QBTC mean? Big Boy Blue. Have you heard of my channel? Dirty Weather 916 asked if I have heard of his channel. It's a small black child. Is his picture on there? I have not heard of your channel. Dude, are the Nigerians infiltrating YouTube now? That's one more thing I'm going to say. Before I go, I'm just going to say, Facebook and Instagram are so stupid, it is insane, man. Like, I get bombarded with all these fake pages and fake profiles all the time. They're almost nonstop. Not almost, they are. Every day I get like 10 friend requests on Facebook. About 9 of them are just, maybe 7 or 8 of them are fake. 2 or 3 of them are just random people. I don't know you. Why would I? I mean, it's random people. I mean, are they that bored? They're on Facebook friending, like friending people. I mean, people still do that. It's kind of weird, but Instagram is the worst with all the fake stuff that's on Instagram and the weird things that like spam my inbox, my inbox for Instagram. I get so many weird things popping in there all the time. I get the same thing on Messenger. Oh my God, please, if you're on my Messenger, don't message me like constantly. And some people, it's not the ones, you know who you are, man. The ones who spam my Messenger with weird ads and links and like your favorite songs that you were listening to on YouTube. Don't do that. Please don't do that. That's I can't stand. And Facebook is so whack, man. Like they're so bad at what they do at connecting people, and they're so bad at like everything. And then the censorship of it. You have to, if you're someone like me, you can't just say nothing. There's no point in scrolling your news feed. You see something you don't agree with, you want to share something, you can't say it, because if you say one thing that can be construed even a little bit as offensive, then you'll get reported by some pussy. And then when you have my record of behavior on, when they look at me, if I get reported and they see I've been banned from Facebook 27 times, and they're like, oh, boom, here's another 30 days. Here's another, they do it. And out of the last 6 months, I've been banned from Facebook 5 months. So, and I barely even say nothing. One time I called myself a white boy. Me, a white boy. I got banned for 30 days for saying white boy to me. I am a dork. All right, George, have a good one. And I am out of here, bro. Me too. I like your content. I'm going to sub. All right, well, that's good for you, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. Doge and AMC and SOS are buzz stocks that people are and Reddit run up. It's a shorter's paradise.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, she said she's got it. Absolutely great film, Terminator. I agree, George. I'm just going through these last ones before I go. Where can I hear your radio show? D. Henry, my radio show is if you look at, I think what's it called? My Community was where I make the posts. I posted. It's at 910 Superstation AM Detroit, but you can watch or listen to the live stream from their Facebook page as the show airs. Last week's show is just scroll down a couple days back to last Friday evening and you'll find it. Or you can go to iHeartRadio and get their app, and it's every Friday at 7 to 9. iHeartRadio, 910 Superstation Detroit. And even if you're not from Detroit, you can hear it like 1,000 miles away. It's a 15,000 watt station, so it's one of the strongest in the country, they said. So it's crazy. Terminator was that? Lola J, yes it was. All right, have a good week, you guys. No, I don't mind. George says, "You don't mind when you send me tunes." No, George sends me really good ones. He sends me like classics that are my favorites, and it's not all the time. He's done it like 3 times, and they're all dope. Like "Road to the Riches," Cool G Rap, one of my favorite songs of all time. I mean, just crazy gangster. So, no, George, you're good, man. It's the weirdos who do it like 12 times a day. That's the weird ones. All right, man. Have a good one. Carolina Light Whitetails. What up? Can you plug our interview on my channel? I gotta get back on here. Hey, can you plug our interview on my channel? Yeah, everyone, go to Carolina Whitetails. His videos. There was a show I did with him. Check him out. He's here right now. Carolina Whitetails is his channel. And I did an interesting show with him, just basically a little backstory on me, and also talking about my love and passion for hunting, how I became such a passionate hunter, and what a spaz I am about it. Because I'm insane when it comes to hunting. I'm pretty spazzy. I'm like straight nerd, spaz nerd. That's me when it comes to hunting. You ask my wife, she'll tell you, man. I get obsessed, and then that's it. 3-4 months go by. That's all I'll think about. So, anyways, God bless. Have a good night. It's been fun. 130 minutes. Everyone who donated, thank you so much for your super chats. Whoa, Dino hit me. Dang, at the last minute, bang. Look at that, Dino. Thank you, Dino. It's a good show on Friday night. And you said, have a good night, Dino. My boy Dino hits me with a super chat faithfully. So thank you, man. Takes money out of his pocket, food out of his mouth, and says, yo, I just spent 2 hours listening to you. I enjoyed it and feel like, this was every bit as good as me going to the movies, watching and listening to you, Gunner, and spend $20. I'd rather sit in my bedroom and just watch you. Here's 20 and give you 20. So thank you, and all the others who did that. Super sweet. I made $115, which is, again, I mean, it's needed. It's not like I'm balling at all. Someday when I am, I will tell you and be honest to you. Like, when I get a deal for something, I'm balling. Believe me, I'll click this thing on here and go, listen, you're never going to believe this, but game, it's finally over. All the grind, the struggle, I finally am okay, That, you'll be the first to know. But until then, this is my job and my grind and what I do, and add a couple $100 from my ads, and add a couple $100 from my books, and a couple $100 from my clothes, and a couple $100 from my Patreon, and you add it up, and I'm not making much money. But I'm doing what I do, and I'm doing it for me, and I'm having a good time. So I guess that's all that matters. So for now, God bless. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Dino, again. I've been showing off your clock. I figure it needs more airplay. Every time I do a video up there, I'm going to show it off because it was sitting behind me and you can't see it. So anyway, take care, guys. God bless. Have a good one. And we have.